Let it flow.
Let it flow. And we're live. Here we go.
Michael, Shawn, and the TakeOver Legends, where nothing's off limits. Free Agent Radio.
Baby, tap in. Tap in.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning on the East Coast. That's where I am at. Michael, Shawn, and the TakeOver Legends. It is what? Friday. It's Friday.
It's Friday.
It's supposed to be fun day, right? Friday fun day.
And I'm going to party and get my groove on. You know anything about that?
No.
Sir Charles is Southern Soul music.
Never heard.
Never heard of that? When you come to Texas, I'm going to introduce you guys to Southern Soul.
And it's Friday Southern Soul music. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's supposed to make you energized and get you up and going. That's what we're going with.
It's just, you can just chill out to it. Sir Charles Jones is a big Southern Soul artist.
Okay, I gotta check it out. Not like a R. Kelly vibe, because when I think of Southern, and I'm thinking of what is it? The Step in the Name of Love and all that. No, not that.
No, that's not really it. It's more like, you know who Johnny Taylor is?
No.
These last $2. Lady at the Casino.
No.
You know who ZZ Hill is?
I know ZZ Top. I heard of ZZ Top.
Do you know who Mel Waiters is?
No.
Betty Wright. You know Betty Wright.
I heard the name Betty Wright before. I don't know her song. Is that one of them?
Tonight is the Night.
Okay, I'm sure I know that song. And the people you named, okay. I may have heard. Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning, Kathy. Yeah, she loves Sir
Charles. She loves Sir Charles. But
Bobby Womack. Heard of Bobby Womack, right?
Heard of Betty White. Heard of Bobby Womack.
Okay, so it's along those lines.
Bobby Womack is I'll Be Stroking guy, right?
That's Clarence Carter. Clarence Carter, he falls in blues. Instead of calling it the blues now, they call it Southern Soul.
Bobby Womack. What is the song? I know it.
If you think you're lonely now.
Okay. Waiting for the night down. Okay.
Yeah. I can't remember none of his other songs. There's a lot of songs that I like by him, though. But it's called Southern Soul. Maybe if y'all have time, I'll take y'all to the Blues Palace where you can see the hens.
And what is that?
A hen is a woman with a big butt and big thighs.
It's all this lingo.
And they come out and they dance on the stage. I don't know if he's open. But the Blues Palace, you go to the Blues Palace and it's chill. You can go just like you dress now. You ain't got to dress up. And the blues acts get up there and dance. And then he calls out the hens. They call hens.
And they're called hens. And this is Michael Shawn saying, send me the link to my phone. Hold on. Let me send Mike this link again.
Tell him to look in the group text.
I know. Mike, you know how Mike get. Mike is Mike.
Well, Mike is traveling today. For those of you that are wondering where Michael Shawn is, and then on the East Coast, they're having some issues with their internet services because it's a lot of raining going on. So that's why Killer Cam ain't here with us this morning, and Sexy Mo was going to join us as well, but they're having internet issues. So you got Jay Black and Shawnee.
Hey, and we got the good doctor coming up momentarily too. The Dr. Aaron Smith, and he's very packed with a lot of information and passion and things we're gonna also hit on. So I just sent this to Mike again.
And if you are in the DFW area, don't forget next Wednesday it goes down at the Addison Improv. So we'll be looking for you to be there. Michael Shawn, Rodney Perry, tickets are on sale right now. If you want tickets, you can hit me up. Just hit me up, inbox me, DM me. Just get at me, at Shawnee Scott. Just type in at Shawnee Scott and get at me. Got your tickets, or you can call the Improv at 972-404-8501.
And it's Michael Shawn. It's a comedian, Rodney Perry, of course, coming to America. He was rocking with that Monique show, late night talk show for a minute. Overall good dude. And I was thinking about performing, y'all. I haven't made my mind up yet. I was thinking about opening up, doing like a little 5-minute set. So, I
think you got it, Jay. They be hating on you, but I think you got it. Let's hear another joke.
Let me get a couple. No, real talk. If I get me a couple shots in me, that loosens me up. A couple shots in me. Hey, hey, shout out to all my couples in the house. Anybody couples in here? What? I get going. I get to talking to people. I get to saying some good stuff. All right. You gonna be just like them. Good morning, Jacqueline.
Good morning, Jacqueline.
So I think that'd be I think that'd be cool. I'm really considering it for real. I'm
looking forward to it.
Yeah, but I just got to figure out the money situation because he ain't talk price with me. I need to.
You got to get paid. You're not gonna get up there and just do like an improv. Usually, when you're the amateur, you have to pay to be on stage.
But Mike taught me. You have to be compensated for your worth. So when you're doing comedy shows and things, I have to be properly compensated. So
what would that be?
Not much. Couple $100. I'm easy.
Couple $100.
I'm easy.
For knock jokes?
No, I'm not gonna do knock jokes.
For knock jokes. For riddles. Come on, Jay.
I do some real jokes. But yeah, so there you go. July the 14th, we're coming to Texas. We'll be there.
That's at least $2. Yes. Like
that's at
least $2. Like Johnny Taylor said, these last $2.
So disrespectful. Unless one of them hens going to be in there. We say them. We call them the women. That's my new thing now.
The hens.
I need a hen.
They big booty women. They is nice and round, and they got real big thighs. I have to show you one, and then you'll see why they call them hens. Because have you seen a hen? You know the difference between the chicken and a hen. The hen is thicker than the chicken.
Thicker than a Snicker. So but they call. Oh, this Mike calling. Let's see.
Yeah, they're hens. Mike must be having problems with this.
Mike, are you having technical difficulties?
Don.
No, but I'm not getting it to my email, like the link.
Oh, I sent it to you, email, Mike.
Yeah. No, we sent it to his phone. We put it in the group text too. It's in the group text too.
It's in the email too. It's in the group text and the email. What do you want us to do, Mike? This guy now he don't know how to work his phone or his email. Let me see.
I'm in my email. No, for real, on real life. Like I'm in my emails right now. I went to my. I don't know if we on the radio, but I'm on my. Yeah, I'm on my Mike Shawn, the number one. I went to it right now.
Oh no, it's the other email, Mike.
Made for the people.
It's the Gmail.
Mm-hmm. I'm in the Gmail.
Okay, you just said you was in.
Good morning, Ashley.
All right.
All right. I'm in the Gmail right now. I'm in the Gmail. I'm in the iCloud. I'm in everything.
All right. All right. We'll send it again.
How about this? Just send it to my text message, and I can just send it to my phone number, and then I'll tap right in.
Bam. Here we go. I'm doing it again.
Okay.
It's in both your emails and it's in your cell phone. It's in a group text. It's in a group text. So click on the group text if you want it faster.
Why would you send it to a group text? Why wouldn't you send it directly to me?
Because that's where it was sent to, Mike.
And why would that make sense? Why would that make sense?
Real quick. Would you get the link in a group text as well?
Oh, hold up. I'm gonna tap the StreamYard that y'all sent in the group text, genius.
And
it says the connection is not private and it won't let me get in.
Not private, what? All right, Mike. Let me do it again. Let me see if I click on it, what will happen?
Yeah.
I'm gonna check my email right now.
Mine opens right up when I click on it. Wow, maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's your settings.
Shawnee said maybe it's your settings.
Yeah, because it opens for me
it's
too.
Not the settings. I got everything else.
All right, try the email again because it's in the email. I sent it to both emails this time.
I got my Infinity Financial Services. I got my Capital One.
Okay. All right. You're
Wait a minute.
You
got all my bills.
You got your Experian credit report.
The only one I didn't get is J Black and Shawnee.
Okay. All right.
Oh, okay.
Right. Let's just send it 5 times in a row. That way
let's see. They'll all come through.
You're gonna get all of them now.
Your phone about to go off.
Mm-hmm.
Then Mike, which one are y'all sending it to?
All of them.
I'm checking both of them.
I sent it to the iCloud and the Gmail.
Hold on. Y'all text me since y'all want to be smart asses. Y'all text me and I'm gonna put it. This connection is not private. The website and it's not letting me get on.
That's weird.
I
know it's weird. I'm about to screenshot it.
Hey, I'm gonna send it to your regular solo. All right, so we trying to get Michael Shawn on for those who are watching.
Where's Cam?
So Corey, is this storm that Elsa, whatever that hit Florida,
the
East Coast?
Yeah. They
came up.
Crazy.
Yeah, it came up this East Coast line, and the Cam and Mo and Jersey having issues. So it looked like I might have skated through. So that's why I told people, stay out of Jersey. But yeah,
shut your ass up. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know anything that you're talking about.
Well, I'm yeah. Anyway,
all right. I just emailed it again.
You got lucky.
Check your email again, and we're gonna wait for you to pop in. Check it. Check 2 more times.
No, keep them on.
Can y'all hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you on the phone. You can also call 609.
No, he can't. No, he can't. Cam is not here.
Oh yeah. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I have fun.
That's so true. Yeah. So you gotta stay on the phone until you click on.
I went to all my emails.
He's so technical savvy.
Oh my God.
I went to every email.
He went to the made for the
made for the Gmail. You at the Gmail, and then
what's
you
this email address?
iCloud.
Let me see.
iCloud, Gmail. Y'all normally send it to my Gmail.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm on the Gmail right now.
Yep, and it's right.
I'm not getting nothing from y'all.
Maybe you got to refresh your phone.
Yeah, maybe if you hang up, it'll come through.
Yeah, hang up and then look at your text message and email and see, because it's definitely showing everything went through.
Good morning, Stephanie.
Morning, Steph. Kathy said, "Tell Mike good morning."
And good morning, Mama.
Be safe. Yeah, she said, "Make sure you be safe."
And she said, "Thank you too
hearing me
for the tickets
you
on
said,
the phone."
I got you on my cell phone.
Oh, okay. How y'all hear me?
It's early. All right, so figure it out, man. We gotta have you pop on.
Well, how y'all gonna do a show? What you gonna do?
Well, I was thinking about talking about a couple things.
What you gonna do?
Shut your ass up.
Well, let me see what I got. We got the doctor, Dr. Aaron Smith, gonna be joining us.
Oh no, God bless Aaron Smith, rocking.
Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm. So also we there's a couple things in the news we're gonna hit on. And actually it was one thing I was watching the Shy, and I thought this question that came up with, because the Shy really intrigued me. And any logic to this? Maybe you can answer this, Mike. After cheating on your partner, can it strengthen your relationship?
It sure can.
You said it sure can.
It sure can. And don't get Shawnee the cursing. Don't get Shawnee the cursing. But I think I see what's going on. I'm trying to connect to this whole situation at the airport. And I'm good. Y'all irritating me. I'm good. Hold up.
Don't we always irritate you?
Good morning, Bobby.
I'm good.
B. Holiday. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Don Page said it's a bootleg show today.
Bootleg today, y'all.
All
no
right.
Mike, no Cam.
No man.
We're gonna be waiting on Mo, but we got the good doctor. We got the good doctor coming up. But no, I want to get into this topic though, because that show really intrigued me, because I understood, although my wife didn't. And we got into it.
I think that's a man thing. I think maybe for y'all it might strengthen it, because after you do something like that and you are on the brink of losing what you really want, then you like, okay.
Well, I think when he cheated, and for those who watched the show, when he cheated, it was like an epiphany for him. Like, you know what? I don't even want to be with my girl. I don't want these other females in these streets. It was like an eye-opening moment of that's who he wants, and I understood what he went through. And then, all right, Mike, you any luck?
Hold up. Go ahead, keep talking. Keep talking. Go ahead, feel like me. Go ahead.
Yeah, right.
I know what it is.
So no, but I felt it was like an epiphany, eye-opening. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, that's my girl. I don't want no one else. And I said, well, that can make their relationship stronger. But at the same time, he cheated. How is that going to affect her?
Absolutely. Yeah. It was an eye opener for him once he realized, his dad's girlfriend told the dad what happened. And he was scared that the dad or somehow it was gonna come out. So I think he just wanted to beat him to the punch because it was wearing him out. He couldn't even function right.
Yeah, I don't know why I was wearing them out. I mean, it happened. Some things you take to the grave. But anyway, the reality.
He couldn't with that, but yeah, for him, but for her, that's what I'm saying. For y'all, that might happen for. Well, let me not say y'all because sometimes it's the other way around. But for the person that did the cheating, yeah, when you realize, oh, you know what, I did something stupid and I might lose the real thing that I really wanted. This comes out, or I'm gonna go ahead and be honest. Yeah, it makes you get right in your life. But as for the person that is on the other side of that makes. I mean, for me personally, when that happened, I'd be like, well, maybe you ain't the one. Maybe I'm selling myself short because you don't see what's here until you go jump in another lake. I don't know.
But if I have you propped up, you're my queen. You're the one.
No, I wasn't the queen.
Well, no, at this point, it highlighted to me. You are it. I cheated, and I realized I cheated, and you're the best thing for me. Nothing else matters but you. And then I'm pouring all my love and affection into you. Wouldn't that strengthen that relationship? It wouldn't strengthen it?
It helps you, but what does that do for me? You keep talking about the other person, the person that did the cheating. Yeah, for them, they done had a whole epiphany. But the other person, they've had an epiphany too. Like, well, damn. I've been out here holding this joker down all this time, and this is what's going on.
And now you at that point where you got to decide, hey, is this the best thing for me? He's all into me. He's building me up. And moving forward, this can make things stronger, or it can be no, because he cheated. I don't want to deal with you at all.
No, it's well, you've said all these things to me before. So how do I know that you're not gonna go back in them streets again? Because we see how she handled it. Now the thing with them, what I will say about these two characters is they're young. They've been together since they were in high school. You know what I'm saying? So they've been together since they were in high school. He been cheating on her. They not 40 years old doing this.
So I guess
they still trying to figure out life.
So I guess that leads into an overall question. Is there such a thing as being too honest in a relationship? Like, is there such a thing as that? Like the fact that he told on himself, like, is there such a thing as being too honest, or do you want honesty?
I don't think for that situation, I don't think he was too honest because that made her go do something. That made her go out and have her own experience. And I think when you're that young, like, I think that's too young to be getting married anyway. I think, me personally, I don't think you should get married till you about 38 or 40. Somewhere in there. Okay. Because now you got a better understanding of who you are. You know what you want. You know what you're looking for. And you got time to do what you want to do, date as many people as you want. But hey, he gave his truth, and you know what? She packed her bag up and went and saw who she wanted to see and got knocked off.
But like Mustafa just said, if they did it after he cheated before they got married.
Yeah, the day before.
Ain't that like a fresh start? Hey, new start. Everything starts over, right? When you get married.
No, but I mean,
from that point on, you took that oath.
No, through their engage, like even when they decided to get married, like the whole thing with Lala, I can't remember her character's name. It wasn't like it wasn't nothing that was premeditated. It just kind of happened. He had been looking at her. He had been looking at her. She had been looking at him, and then one day it just happened. So it wasn't like he was ever trying to check for her or get with her. It was one of those things that really just happened. But this happened. I think I can't remember if it was when they had their engagement party up there at the store. It was like that night.
Yeah, right before the grand opening or whatever it was.
Yeah.
No,
so,
he
proposed
to her. He proposed to her after they had sex. But what I'm saying is, you're married. I feel like a marriage is a first start. So what happens before you're married, it happens. Clean slate. What she says, you're single until you say I do.
No, if we decide that if we've decided that, okay, this is me and you, then it's me and you. And that's what I expect.
Well, according to the Honorable Kevin Samuels, he said, you're single or you're married. There's no, you're single until you're married. So until I'm married, technically, I get what you're saying. You're in a relationship and you're supposed to be faithful even when you're dating or and all that. But I thought the marriage aspect changes things. Like when you get married, it goes in different.
If we are dating, if we are just dating, that's one thing. But if you come to me and say, hey, because I ain't the one that's gonna say this. And this is why I won't say it, is because it's up to the man. When it come to me, it's up to him. Because I don't want you to ever say, well, you the one that forced this, you put this on me. No, you came to me and this is what you said you wanted. I agreed. So these are my expectations. If you come to me and say, hey, Shawnee, I want this to just be me and you. Let's take this to the next level. And I say, okay. Then I have some expectations there. If we just, dating and, every now and then we go out, hey, yeah, you do you. But the minute you say to me, hey, I want us to be more serious, I want it to just, you and I just to see each other, then I have expectations.
Kathy got it. If you cheat while you're single, you cheat while you're married.
Yeah, you're not committed to nothing.
It's in you.
We're not talking about just dating. Dating. If y'all dating, ain't nobody made a commitment. You have it. I mean, because me personally, I don't really know about the whole married thing. I can't honestly say that's something that I want to do again.
I question that cheating, and then you cheat while you're married. I question that.
What you mean you question it? So you cheat while you married?
No, it says you cheat while you're single. Then you cheat. It's just in you. What Kathy said, basically, a cheater's a cheater. And I don't. So you never cheated on someone and then stopped?
No, like I've never cheated on somebody.
Married them?
If I'm
go ahead.
If I'm if I'm in a situation where I'm dating somebody and I become interested in somebody else, I break up with that person because that's unnecessary. You ain't got to cheat on nobody.
I'm gonna go on a hunch and say the masses. There's individuals, a lot of people that have cheated, and then during the course of their relationship or they got married, then stopped after that. I don't think it's in you is in you. You realize that you have a lot to lose, so you may stop. But while you're dating, yes, it possibly happened. I'm sure cheating could be in the mind of the individual. It could have been you talking to another dude. I could think that's cheating.
Now we talking about you went and slept with somebody else. Let's be clear. Okay. Not you went and had lunch with somebody else. We talking about you went and bumped uglies with somebody else.
Some sort of sexual activity happened.
Yes, that's what we talking about. That's the cheating. You no, and no, Don, I don't.
The second marriage. Well, is it better? I guess it would be better than the first. Maybe, yeah. Yeah, I'm on number 3, so I've been trying to do the math and carry the 1. I know the third one is the best so far. Like that's been the one.
Wait a minute, you done said so far.
It's only been 7 years. It's only 7 years. I'm still keeping my eyes open. I'm making sure.
Lord. You better slow down. You better slow down if you want that bacon this morning. That phone gonna start going off. Well, you gonna get some text messages. One day she gonna come up there like the lady on Tom Jerry and just pop you in the head with a pan or something. All we gonna see is boop. Like, dang, what happened to Jay Black?
No, but that cheating that Kathy said threw me for a loop. But yeah, is there such a thing as being too honest in a relationship though? As much as we,
yes,
be honest and be transparent, can you really be? So is there such a thing? Like, would you prefer your mate to be brutally honest or consider my feelings?
I prefer the brutally honest because at least I know. I might not like it. It might hurt my feelings, but at least I know. So I'm not looking at you like, this joker think I'm stupid. He really think I'm stupid, and I'm gonna play this game. Because when that happens for me, then I start losing respect. And once I lose respect for you, then it's over. We might as well go on and throw the towel in.
Because then you walk all over him. Kelly said, Jay Black, you almost cheated yesterday in your mind when I said I came at the gym. It was talking about gym and females, and I said, I candidate someone that's easy on the eyes, so it's not that's not cheating. If someone is easier on the eyes, right? Oh, I don't think so. Don, because you know what you're not going to put up with, and what you're not. Yeah, that's for you, Shawn. Yeah. So you know what you're gonna put up with or not, but I don't think cheating is a. I mean, I think there are reformed cheaters out there. I do. I think there's people that been in them streets, and then you just stop. You realize it ain't for you. You stop. So, but I don't know about that. Being brutally honest and sharing that, because once that's in your mind, you're gonna always think that person is doing it, right?
Yep. And if they can't be honest about it, if you can be honest, then I know that when I come to you and I ask you, or if something comes up, then I trust that you're going to tell me the truth. But if you lie to me and I have to prove to you, I have to say, okay, look, this is you on the video. That's you. You going to tell me it's not you? But you got some people out there that'll lie and be like, nah, that ain't me.
Nah, that was my brother. Ain't that what R. Kelly said? So the Don said, I'm one. So Don
you're a reformed cheater?
Don is a reformed cheater. John used to cheat, and now he's no longer cheating. And so it's not in you, Kathy. It's not all in you. Wait a
minute, let me ask Don a couple questions.
Here we go.
So, Don, are you married now? Don, are you married? How old are you? And when did you stop cheating? Those are the questions.
Does his age really matter?
Yes, it does. Because like he said, you know what you're not going to put up with, and because you know what you are not going to put up with, and what you are going to put up with and what you're not, I think is what he's trying to say. I didn't figure that out really until I was 40.
That you realize what you will put up with and what you wouldn't. Good morning, Afro Queen.
Well, it's, you know what? I won't say that that's when I realized it. That's when I really start acting on it. Like, where I just really cut. Well, people say I cut people off quick anyway, but I guess my cutoff game got faster. It got faster than what it was before.
Your zero tolerance.
It's like, okay, no. But you know what really, I think what really activated that, and I turned 40 when this happened, when I got diagnosed with breast cancer. When I got diagnosed with breast cancer, a whole new person came out.
Zero foolishness for anybody.
Yeah, it came out real quick.
And that makes sense. It's like, all right, you got that slap of reality, and it's like, wait a minute. I can, that wakes things up. Action, reformed cheaters. When did they get out of cheating prison? No, you could be reformed. Like, I swear, if Don is reformed, I'm sure there are reformed cheaters out there. Have I ever cheated in my heyday? In my heyday? I don't know. But I
don't know.
I don't know.
Have you ever cheated before, Jay? That's just yes or no. It is about you, because this is the show. You the show today. Mike Shawn not here. So.
Oh no, I'm not the show today. You the show today.
Nah, you.
But
okay.
No. Go ahead.
See, there go Don. See, he said, yes, I'm married. I stopped about 10 years ago, and I'm 53. So he was 40 years old before he realized it. At 25, that ain't what he was trying to do. At 35, he was still out there in them streets. You see what I'm saying? That's why I say don't get married till you about 40 years old. Between 38 and 40, that might be the sweet spot.
That's when your education click in. That's when you learn. That's when you have a lot of knowledge.
I mean, and that's just my opinion. But
cheating after 40. Do you cheat? Hey, once you say I do, all bucks are off. I do agree with that. Once you're married, I don't think that the cheating should be an option, unless your spouse ain't meeting your needs. But
wait a minute. Wait. So we're not talking about this marriage. We're going to talk about your last two marriages. So you never cheated on your wife in your last two marriages. They over. It don't matter. So did you ever cheat on your wife?
According to Kathy's theory,
No.
Being a cheater, it's always in you. And I know I ain't doing a darn thing. My 2021, what?
So, okay, so the answer is yes.
Have I cheated in the past? What is the relevance of that?
Because that's what we talking about. What you mean? What's the relevance?
No,
You the one who brought the topic up.
Look, now I'm trying to Donald Trump you. I'm trying to pivot.
Yeah. So the answer is yes.
Okay. Yes.
They cheated.
Yes. I cheated in the heyday.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and what made you cheat? Like, what? So the chick that you was with, she wasn't giving you everything that you needed?
What was the question? Is there such a thing as being too honest in a relationship? Wow. So you want me to be honest?
Yeah.
That's what you want? Let's read, Bobby. Let's read B. Dot's holler. B. Dot, what do you say?
He said, in my early 20s, I was planting seeds in fertile soil. So you must got a whole bunch of kids. I'm 53 now. If you think the same at 53 as you did as you 24, you haven't grown it up. Well, Bobby, there are a lot of men out there that are 40 plus that still are trying to get
run them streets.
Yeah, they trying to run them streets. For real. Don, he cheated his whole first marriage. And how old were you when you first got married?
And I wonder if
he's probably in his 20s.
And that probably played a part in them the demise, obviously, because she may have had clues, or she may have been cheating as well,
or had thoughts. Because I know I got married. I was like 26. I didn't want to get married. That was the thing. I ain't want to get married, but okay. I was always looking. Like, dang, what if I wouldn't have did this? Then I could talk to him.
All right, so Bobby is a long time friend. Matter of fact, in my first marriage, he was one of my groomsmen. That's how far me and Bobby.
So Bobby know all your dirt.
Yeah, when he saw about telling that bachelor party was fun, wasn't it, Bobby?
Look at that. Look at that.
Allegedly, that bachelor party was allegedly fun. Don said he was 22. 32.
Okay, so see, that's young. And that's what I'm saying. When you get married about 38, 40, you got your career in place. You've gotten now because, people like to, this is what I bring to the table. Okay. At 22, I didn't meet too many other 22-year-olds that were on the same level as me. Good morning, Queen Born. I had my own cars. I had 2 cars paid for, had, my spot. And I ain't known too many other 22-year-olds that was in that position. So, but by the time you get 38, 40, you should have, your own spot, your own things. Your career should be in place. You should have 401k. Some stuff should be in place.
You want credit scores. You want, okay. I see where you're going.
Yeah, you need to be established. So you ain't, neither party should be having to carry the other person 100% of the time.
That could be true, because I didn't learn about 401k till late. I was anti 401k. I didn't understand. I'm like, no, I want my money. Now I didn't get it. So it may be some truth to that. I was 27 and I have no kids. And yes, that bachelor party was fun.
Okay, because he said he's trying to plant everywhere. I'm like, well, dang. How many trees you want to grow? Lord. Out here got 23 kids. Yeah. Or no kids that you know of? Are you sure you don't have any kids? You sure ain't none popping up somewhere? Are they grown and you just don't know? You still out here planting seeds? Because these sugar daddies, I'm not calling you a sugar daddy, Bobby. But they be, knocking these little girls off.
Bobby's a sugar daddy.
Oh, Bobby, you a sugar daddy?
No, I ain't say that. Before you start putting something in the comments. No, B-Dot's good.
Bobby is sugar daddy, all right? I want a sugar daddy that I ain't got to give no sugar, and that just ain't working out.
Oh, God. You just want to receive. You just want to receive all the time.
Yeah, like, hey, sugar daddy. Me and my daughters want to go to Jamaica for the weekend. You got it? All right. They just need to say, all right, here, baby, have a good time. All right. We'll bring you some groceries when we get back.
No.
Kathy said, tell it, put that back up there. She said, tell it, Bobby. We want to know how Jay Black was back in the day.
That don't count back in the day. When you young, we all young and we learn and we grow. So our youth is different from when you hit 40, things change. So now I'm in my 40s. I'm good. I'm good. I learned and I move on. I'm in a nice, healthy, stable relationship. Life's great.
Yeah, life is great now, but before you was a savage out there in them streets.
Oh God.
And then you the radio guy. Oh my God, let me tell y'all about the radio guys. They are the worst. They are the worst. I have seen street teamers pull all kinds of chicks just because they had, some kind of power, or it appeared that they had this power. Listen,
Groupie love.
they got the tickets to the
Groupie
events. They can get you in. Yeah, that. We were together for 15 years, met in high school, and marriage only lasted 60 days before I met the love of my life. 60 days. So you cheated for 60 days straight. 60 days. But that's what I'm saying. Y'all met in high school. You didn't get to get out there and meet other people and figure out what you like before you settle down. That's what I tell my daughters. Don't worry about that. Go do what you want to do. All that's going to be there. It's always going to be a man somewhere around the corner. Bus come every 15 minutes. That's what my grandma used to tell me. Bus come every 15 minutes and you can get on every last one for free.
But sometimes you got to put work in to make it work. You just can't jump to the next bus though, right?
No, but you got options. You have options. You don't have to just settle for this.
Well, it's really telling if you're conforming and changing and building that perfect relationship, that perfect.
There is no perfect relationship.
Well, yeah, not perfect, but you get where I'm going. But it takes time, right? Sometimes you got to build things up. You got to get things to where you want it to be, versus it ain't going to come all inclusive.
Man, listen. When I go to the car lot to buy a car, I buy the car that I want.
There you go.
When I go look for somewhere to stay, I get what I want. I don't care about the price. I get what I want. So that way, I'm happy. I'm not sitting in there because before I moved here, it was some other things that I looked at that were nicer on the pocketbook.
Okay.
But had I done that, then I'd be sitting there right now going, dang, this really ain't where I want to be. And I'm locked in this lease for however long. And dang.
Buyer's remorse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But hey, I get what I want. So the same thing. If it ain't got to be perfect. Nobody is perfect. But I think that there's basic needs that you have, and if those are met, then now you got to work with somebody. You got to compromise because nobody's going to be exactly like what you want. But I hate that question. I had no kids at all. I wasn't out there cereal knocking the bottom. Well, you the one that said that, Bobby. I don't even know you. You the one who put on there. Let's go back to what you said. Shawnee didn't say this. I ain't know nothing about you.
What you said earlier? You said,
where you at? In my early 20s, I was planting my seeds in fertile soil. Emoji. I ain't say it. You said it.
So all right. So hopefully when we come back, Mike will be here. Mike, actually, for those who just joined us, so Mike is traveling, so he's going to be on via cell phone any minute now. We also got the good Dr. Aaron Smith in about 15 minutes.
Is it?
Yeah, it's about 15 minutes. But when we come back, can we talk about that burglar? It was something I saw on the news, and it caught my eye. I thought it was interesting. So somebody had a naked man burglarizing their house. Hold on, let's read what Kathy said real quick before we shift gears. Kathy said, I got married at 21 and divorced at 42. So what's that, 21 years? I didn't date for a while, but when I got myself together, dating became fun again. Sounds like that took a lot out of Kathy. I'm 21 years. It took a lot out of her.
But she said dating became fun again. Like, it's not fun for me.
Oh, getting back in the dating scene at 21 years after being married?
Well, I think, how long has it been since I've been divorced? I think about 8 years. I don't know how long it's been since I've been divorced. 8, 7 years, something like that. But no, I don't like dating now.
Ain't nothing out there,
it's
as they say.
It's so, to me, it just seems like it's so many games being played. It's like, You know, people aren't. Well, it's not the same either because you have the online dating apps. So like I'm on a couple of those. That's weird. It's I'm like you texting back and forth to somebody, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. This is my number. You can call me and talk to me.
This is interesting to me. I didn't peg you for an online dating app person. I felt like you were more in person. Somebody meet you and you chop it up and.
Well, that's what I would prefer. Yeah, meet in person. But for the most part, I'm here in front of this computer or I'm at track with the kids. So ain't no opportunities really for me to meet somebody. So it was suggested, why don't you try online dating? So I'm like, all right, I'll try it. And you get your little messages, you put your little pictures and stuff up there. But they sitting there texting you and it's like, just call me. We grown. Just call me and we can talk on the phone. And that, I don't know, somebody that's just texting me, and then you calling and it's short, and I'm like, no, he probably married or he and something else.
Hey Bobby, you can't call it Free Agent Radio right now. We're not up on there because DJ Cam doesn't have any power over in South Jersey from the storm. So there's no phone lines. The Elsa to knock the phone lines out and Cam, so you can't call in.
Queen Elsa.
But back to you, this dating app. This is intriguing to me. I don't know how I feel. I know how. What do you mean?
What you mean? You know how you feel? Jay, my big brother, y'all. Y'all didn't know Jay is my big brother.
I don't know. It feels kind of. I know a lot of people into it. The dating apps, I don't know.
Well, I don't even check them now. Like they just there. I need to really go in and take the profiles and stuff down, but I haven't taken the time to do it.
Somebody judging swipe. Do you know every time somebody look at your profile? Like, do you see it that when someone looks at your profile or not?
I don't know. I don't know. I think one of them might tell you if so many people looked at you. Like, I'll get little notifications that say, these people want to meet you. And I don't go look. I met one person off of it. One in person. And he was cool for about 7 days.
And then what? He got too aggressive? He got too pushy?
No, he didn't get too pushy. It's just, I think he just had a lot going on and he was trying to, he was portraying himself as one thing. Of course. And I won't say nothing. Like when I can see that, okay, you lying. I just listen. I let you hang yourself. And so and then, when you ask somebody about their job and they really can't tell you, then
dancing. He dancing around. Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, someone right. Like it's something that isn't right about the situation. And so shoot, I just told him, listen, it was nice meeting you. But I wish you the best. But he done hit back a couple times. I'm like, man, yeah. Well, maybe we can go to lunch. We'll see. And we'll see means no.
Yeah, seemed a little desperate. Yeah, when he's still trying. But yeah, you meeting a representative, and sometimes in that representative, everybody's trying to impress on those dating apps. They putting their best angles, the best pictures, the best this, and I guess they want to seem like they're such a hot commodity. But I don't know about a dating app. Does it really work long term?
Some people like Essence Atkins. You know who Essence Atkins is?
Of course. I told you I had a story with her. Yeah. Back in the day. Mm-hmm.
She met her guy on Match.com. Essence Atkins. Because I was like, well, dang, if she can find somebody on there. Well, I didn't do Match because I didn't want to pay all that money. And maybe that's the problem. I'm doing the free apps.
Right. Hey, the more frugal people out there with you, we're gonna save some money together and meet each other. No, that makes sense. But the Essence, but that's a small sample size. That's one person, out of millions. That's on like, yeah. Does it really work? Who's the thought? I see something about the thought with Kathy.
Oh, wait a minute. She says it's not too much fun now because I'm older and those thoughts are what some guys my age are looking at. Don't get me wrong. But I'm still fine as a 60-year-old and full of energy. Yeah, I get that too because they all into now the one thing that I do like is, my pictures, of course, I'm usually, all made up and stuff. But I like to meet people like this because for the most part, this is how you gonna see me. Now, if we going out, of course, I'm gonna go get my hair done, and you get to see my real hair. But nobody's ever been like, oh, you catfishing me. I'm like, no, this is it. We going to just kick it like something regular. This is it. Well, I probably won't wear this wig, but I put my hair in a ponytail. But
I'm about to say, wait, that's not your hair? Yeah, guys, we're horrible with determining if it's a wig or weave or whatever.
Well, yeah, because when I get my hair done, they're like, well, what's the difference? Because it's colored. I have it colored the same, and it's the same length as this one. Now, that other one I had on the other day is not that long, but.
So we were shifting gears. I saw this burglary. This guy, this naked guy. Wait a minute, Stacy got me.
Wait a minute. Oh yeah, she met her husband on Plenty of Fish 8 years ago. Girl, on Plenty of Fish, you can chat on Plenty of Fish now, so you can see the people. But some of them get on there and they black they screen, so you can hear them, but you can't see them. And it's like, well, who are you? But I'm on Plenty of Fish too. I got so many. And they just ding, ding, ding. I think on Plenty of Fish, the men just go through and hit everybody.
See, I picked up on something. You just said how you really wasn't into it, the dating apps. Now you perked up, and now it's I'm on there, and I'm seeing a lot of fish pinging around. So certain apps you like.
Well, no, they send the notifications. That's what I'm saying. I haven't went in and turned it off, so they still come through. Like I'll wake up in the morning and it'll say, Lincoln wants to meet you, or this person, but I never go back and click on them. Who got me on Plenty of Fish? Why not? Who got you? It's because I would rather meet somebody face to face. But Sky is the one that was like, "Oh, Shawnee, let's get on Plenty of Fish and we can do a live in there." So that's what was supposed to happen. We were gonna do this live. We never did the live, but I clicked on it to see, okay, well, what is this? And it was this man that was a wolf talking. He had a little cartoon wolf, but it was his voice coming out, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, I don't want you to see what I really look like. So honestly, I think I need you to stop all those apps. I'm being honest. I think I'm gonna have to go ahead and officially.
He said, "Stop all the apps."
Stop all the apps. Yeah, it's not becoming of you. I don't believe. I think you need to stay focused on meeting someone face to face. So we at the supermarkets, you're out at the whatever Whataburger.
Ain't nobody in Walmart. Ain't nobody at Whataburger.
But that you need to meet someone in person. Do not meet anyone on that. I just don't feel that will work for you.
Okay.
I just don't. So
all right.
So it's official.
I don't think it's working either. I agree with you. We agree on something. Look at that.
Maybe at the comedy show on the 14th in Addison, you may meet someone in the crowd. And, yeah, maybe.
I can get my sundress ready.
Oh wait, the doctor need the link. Yeah, that's my fault. I didn't send it to.
Oh yeah, I didn't have his email address.
No, yeah, that's my fault. All right.
Well, you want to take a break?
Yes, take a break. We're gonna come back with Dr. Aaron Smith, and I really wanted to talk about this burglary, but maybe we can do it after the good doctor. But man, the naked guy in your house robbing you. What do you do? Man, I want to get in there. We can get into it.
Because he's not coming on at 8, right?
Yeah, we got a couple minutes. Yeah, so take a couple minute break, and then we come back, talk about the robbery, and then get right into the good Dr. Aaron Smith. See what's going on. I know he's gonna talk about that. The racist rant guy, Edward
Cagney. Edward Cagney Matthews.
He had a situation that actually happened to him, and he got into it was like a little altercation.
He hit somebody's car.
Verbal altercation, and next thing I know, I see a white guy with a shirt off.
That's not funny.
Going at him. I'm like, wait, where's his shirt at? And why is he coming at the Dr. Aaron Smith that way? And then I saw the cop in the middle. So yeah, we're gonna get into a couple things with him and let him get it off his chest. It's Friday. It's fun Friday. Michael Shawn should be popping in. Everybody's with technical difficulties today, but we still here. We're gonna talk. Is whatever you guys want to hit on, you can hit us in the chat, and we're here. So we'll be back. Michael Shawn, TakeOver Legends.
What up, y'all? It's Michael Shawn letting you know the biggest comedy show of the summer is about to go down. It all goes down July 14th. That's a Wednesday night at the Addison Improv. Michael Shawn and my man straight from Late Night with Monique. And Coming to America, the movie part 2, Mr. Rodney Perry.
My wife be worried about me. She think I'm gonna meet a woman at one of these shows and run off. I tell her I ain't going no goddamn where. First of all, I can't spring this body on no new bitch. No, I'm okay with clothes on, but naked, some bullshit going on up here.
This exclusive comedy situation goes down Wednesday night, July 14th. The Addison Improv. You want your tickets? Call 972-404-8501. Or it could be so simple if you just tap the link in my bio. What up, y'all? It's Michael Shawn from Michael Shawn and the TakeOver Legends. And just in case you missed the show, check this out.
Now, truly, I'm a wife beater, no panties type of chick.
Let's go. Let's go. If I had a gun, Lunel, if I had a gun, I would have just shot it right now. I would have just shot it in the air right now, Lunel. If I had 2 guns, I would be like, boom, boom.
My husband don't care about that lingerie. When we got married, you know, I had bought the little, oh Lord, yes.
Wait.
Come here, girl.
Wow.
Yes.
Stop playing with me. I'm in your neck right now, little nigga. Come here, girl. I'm in your neck. I'm right by the last L. I'm right by the last L.
Oh my God.
I'm by the last L. No disrespect to the E's. No disrespect to the N. No disrespect to the first L. I'm by the last L right now.
If I had a dime, if I had a dime for everybody who's went to sleep right there. I'd be a very rich.
Michael Shawn and the TakeOver Legends. Your escape from reality. Right here on Free Agent Radio.
Don't never stop if you want to be on top. Yeah.
Tap in.
Tap, said Shawnee, as Mike
Tap,
said.
tap in.
That's what he say when we come back from break. It's Michael Shawn and TakeOver Legends. It's Friday. It's a is it the eve of the comedy show that Jay Black may be performing? I'm still haven't decided, y'all. July 14th, I may be opening up for Rodney Perry and Michael Shawn. I may be doing it at the Addison, so I don't know yet. Good morning, Mark. Good morning.
Good morning.
So before the good doctor jump in, it was a burglary happened, Shiny. It was a naked guy in the house robbing somebody, and the wife noticed the guy on the Ring camera, and the husband was in the house upstairs. He didn't know, so the wife calls the husband to let him know. Can we play the clip of what happened with the guy? Do the story.
Yep.
Get the out now! What? Get out! I'll call the police. Get out! A frantic Bel Air homeowner confronted a man she could see inside her house via the Ring security camera app. Her fear at a peak because as the intruder, who was naked for most of the time, made himself at home, taking a swim, walking around inside, her husband was also there, upstairs showering.
I got a call from my wife saying, "Where are you?" I said, "Huh? Why are you calling me? I'm here." No, there's somebody here. I'm like, "I'm here." He's like, I know. There's somebody downstairs. I'm seeing from the camera. And I just was in disbelief.
Moments later, watch here as Matt Sobbs came face to face with the man.
So my initial reaction was just scream and say, "Hey, what are you doing in my house?" Hoping that he would just go away or say he got the wrong house. But he said it was his house. And he said he was going to call the police on me.
Sobbs jumped off the second floor balcony onto his car to escape and call police. Security camera video shows as officers caught 34-year-old Paul Kyan still inside, still insisting.
Oh, wow. All right. I need thoughts. Good morning, Jeanette. Kathy said the guy must be on crack. A guy breaks into your house. You're naked. You're the husband. You're upstairs. The guy walks upstairs towards you. He's naked, and you run out the window.
I mean, well, he wanted to stay alive. He didn't know what this man was gonna do. What would you have done? You would have went up and fought him?
Shawnee, he's a grown man, and you ran from another man in your house that's naked. It's not like the guy had a firearm or a gun or a weapon.
But he had his shorts on by then.
Why are you running from some guy in your house coming up your steps? Like,
so what would Jay Black have done?
What do you mean? What would Jay Black have done? We scrapping. Your hands is no different than mine. Why are we running from some guy in your house that's naked? I'm confused.
You wouldn't just call the police,
Shawnee? No,
I'm just saying.
No way. Let's bring the doctor in on it. I wonder if he saw that clip. Dr. Aaron Smith.
Hey, Dr. Smith.
Welcome.
I sure didn't. I was thinking, who's running what? Nigga, what?
All right, so,
let me play the clip.
So now you gotta play it again. Play it again.
Okay.
Get the out. Now. What? Get out. I'll call the police. Get out. A frantic Bel Air homeowner confronted a man she could see inside her house via the Ring security camera app. Her fear at a peak because as the intruder, who was naked for most of the time, made himself at home, taking a swim, walking around inside, her husband was also there, upstairs showering.
I got a call from my wife saying, "Where are you?" I said, "Huh? Why are you calling me? I'm here." No, there's somebody here. I'm like, "I'm here." He's like, I know. There's somebody downstairs. I'm seeing from the camera. And I just was in disbelief.
Moments later, watch here as Matt Sobbs came face to face with the man.
So my initial reaction was just scream and say, "Hey, what are you doing in my house?" Hoping that he would just go away or say he got the wrong house. But he said it was his house. And he said he was going to call the police on me.
Sobbs jumped off the second floor balcony onto his car to escape and call police. Security camera video.
I wonder, did he mess up his Escalade?
I need thoughts with a good doctor.
He wasn't naked though when he was coming up the stairs, Jay.
Yeah,
you
sure.
don't know what he got.
Shawnee. All right, let me hear the doc. A guy after no shirt on with shorts on coming up the steps saying to you, "This is my house." And you run in your bedroom, lock the door, you jump out of your second floor window onto the hood of your car to run away to call the cops. I'm just saying, as a man, what are we doing, doctor? I don't know.
Well, I don't have to wonder. Somebody actually came to my house aggressively looking for me before. I mean, I'm sure it's part of public record at this point. But I ended up facing some felonies, and somebody ended up getting staples in their head to put their scalp back together.
Well,
it's not a secret. And I'm sure if you Google my name or something, but yeah, somebody came to my house like, "Where the F is Smitty?" That's what he was calling me at the time. And I was like, in the house. And, long story short, staples to put the head back together, man. We're not doing that.
Coming in your house looking for you.
Yeah.
Wait, how did you get the felony? You was defending it. I mean, at that point, because
allegedly after he got kicked down the steps,
allegedly
it wasn't necessary to actually crack the head open. So it was like an extra, they say you're supposed to be like with your back against the wall in the back of your house and all this other rules of when you are allowed to do certain things. So apparently he had already went down the steps and was on his back and all that. And then by the time, I think it was a napkin holder that actually cracked his head open or something. And they were saying that was unnecessary, I guess.
Yeah, you can't come to somebody's house looking for that smoke. Would you not say the man looks crazy and the husband he did right?
Because he did right.
He could have broke his legs jumping out of a window. But doesn't he have a lock on his bedroom door? Like, why can't you just lock the door and the cops are coming? Now, if you heard the man busting down the door, I don't know, maybe different conversation. But the way that the interaction had started, it didn't look like that man was about to kick the door in.
That man, he's in these people's house, and he is bold enough to walk up the stairs after the man done told you to get out. The woman done cussed you out, told you to get out, and he like, "Nah, this is my house." No, it is something wrong.
But that's the whole point about having a man in the house, I guess. Like if the woman in the house was talking and complaining, I thought that's the time when the man in the house is supposed to be a like, man. There's a man in this house.
Well, yeah, I want the man to be alive though. I don't want him to be. We don't know what this man is gonna do.
You would label your husband, boyfriend, a punk if he told you I jumped out the window because a guy came up my steps with some shorts on and he wouldn't leave after I yelled at him.
Nothing. No shots fired.
I mean, but we don't know what he had.
Come on, man.
We look right at him. He only had some shorts.
It looked that way. But you don't know what he could have pulled out. I mean, I wouldn't call him no punk. I call him a punk if we in the house and he jump out the window and leave us there. Then, yeah, he'd be a punk. But
That's
nah,
true.
I want you to be,
That's
I want
how
you to
women
be
think.
alive.
A woman's like, if you leave me, you're a punk. See,
Yeah.
that's how women really. I'm glad she showed that because that's what the woman's
Yeah.
really thinking. The women ain't thinking about you. The women's like, if you leave me, then
If
you're
you
a
leave
punk.
me a punk, if I
You're
got
a
to
punk
fight
by
him,
yourself, that's acceptable. So when you watch these videos of people shooting outside the club, nobody's running. You know what I mean? Like nobody. We don't do that. Like even when the guy's right there shooting somebody else, like, oh, he's shooting somebody else, he's not shooting me. Like I just don't see somebody running in their own house.
In their own, that's what's throwing me off. You're a man. That's your house.
But what was he supposed to do? The man coming up the steps.
He was supposed to meet him at the top of them steps and knock his behind right back down. All types of he getting stomped out completely. And then as what's the name said earlier, then call the cops. Like, yeah, you're defending your house. This person is in your house, in your property. There's no way, and I just don't see it ever happening. Me jumping out of my window because somebody is coming up towards me and saying, "Get out." I just don't see it. I just
don't see it either. I mean, to be honest, I don't think I would have done that because I'm a hothead. But I mean, I understand what the man did.
I want
the right thing to do.
I want to give you all some of the professorial perspective because there's a man named Martin Delaney. Martin Delaney was the first one of the first African Americans to attend Harvard Medical School, even though he didn't finish because of the racism there. Martin Delaney worked with Frederick Douglass. Martin Delaney was a historic figure. He served in the military, but there's a reason why African Americans don't hear about Martin Delaney. And I want to read you a quote that Martin Delaney is famous for making about the Castle Doctrine. This is Martin Delaney's response to the Second Fugitive Slave Act. This is 1850. You can Google Martin Delaney. He says, "Honorable Mayor, whatever ideas I have of liberty, I may have received from reading the lives of your revolutionary fathers. I have therein learned that a man has a right to defend his castle with his life, even unto the taking of life. Sir, my house is my castle. In that castle are none but my wife and my children, as free as the angels of heaven, and whose liberty is as sacred as the pillars of God. If any man approaches that house in search of a slave, I care not who it may be, whether constable or sheriff, magistrate, or even judge of the Supreme Court. Nay, let it be he who sanctioned this act to become a law." He talking about President Millard Fillmore, "surrounded by his cabinet as his bodyguard, with the Declaration of Independence waving above his head as his banner, and the Constitution of his country upon his breast as his shield. If he crosses the threshold of my house, and I do not lay him a lifeless corpse at my feet, I hope the grave may refute my body a resting place, and righteous heaven my spirit a home. Oh no, he cannot enter that house, and we both live."
Wow.
That's why the black children don't get Martin Delaney every day, and they get Martin Luther King. Because if you grow up learning about Martin Delaney every day, you ain't jumping out no windows. You jumping for all that smoke.
Yeah, this is
true.
true.
He said, "Let the president come to my house." And
your actions are about amen.
He said, "Both of us ain't living." But that's why they say he ain't gonna be in the books. They're gonna replace him. They're gonna say Kamala Harris first. No, I'm more Martin Delaney than Martin Luther King on this one. I'm not. We both ain't going out this house, and I ain't going out the window.
I'm jumping out your second.
As a black man, you always getting treated so terribly out in the world. There got to be one place. There has to be one space on the planet Earth. I don't care if it's your cardboard box. There has to be a place where you could take a stand. If Zimmerman can go and follow somebody and take a stand and get respect, at least in this 2x1.5 to whatever dimension your house is, here I'm the king. I have to be to even maintain my sanity. There has to be somewhere where I at least close the door and say, well, if somebody messes with me now, at least I could reasonably defend myself. I'm not talking about being some aggressor or some dictator, but at least I know in my house, if somebody aggresses upon me, I can justifiably do the same to them. Because that's all I'm really saying. You want to, violate me, I'm going to violate you back. Because in the street, you really can't do that. Because, you can call the cops as a black person and end up getting killed. So no, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it and feel and sleep good at night. I wouldn't have slept good at night with my ankles hurt. Icing up my shins and everything. So baby, thanks for the heads up.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, what do you think your wife thinks of you?
How's she sleeping? Yeah. Come on, be honest now. Y'all cuddled up the next day. In the back of your mind, you thinking, This
This
nigga
nigga
gonna
done
jump out
jumped
the
out
window.
the window.
If the
I'd
police
be
come
like,
back with his
if
naked cousin,
somebody come in here and we hear you better not jump out the window. You
gonna
better
grab
get
his
us
shirt.
out first.
Hey,
Shawty
hey,
gonna
you
grab him.
get
Oh no, you stay there. I'm going out first. I know your MO. I know what you about to do. You're not even gonna tell him. You know how the woman say, I heard a noise. Shawty gonna say, no. Shawty gonna call him from outside. She gonna say, I jumped out the window. I heard a noise. I'm gonna let you know because I want to jump out first because I know you're a jumper.
Me and the kids gone.
Yeah, me and the kids
You all right?
we just want to give you another heads up.
You all right? But have you ever been in a situation where somebody because I've been in a situation where I got robbed at gunpoint and got into a fight with the darn man that got a gun on me.
Now you alone on that one. Because I remember one time a dude put a gun on me and he said, don't muh. And all I heard, I think he said move, but by the time he finished, I was already gone. I could fight, but I'm not stupid. I'm not fighting. Right? Like this, he said, don't muh. I ran track with him. I know he's probably like, that nigga fast, right? Because by the time he finished saying move, I had to be at least a block away. Like I couldn't even hear their voices no more. I was gone. But no. If you got the drop on me, you got that. That's what I'm thinking in my mind. You got me. You got that one. You know, don't let me find you again to catch you. But no, we gonna make sure that we fight and live to fight another day. We gotta have a balance. You know, we gotta have a balance.
But Shawty, you fought a guy. He had a gun on you.
I wasn't trying to. Well, I didn't physically fight him. Verbally, I got into it with him because me and this guy were leaving. I was young. I was probably 19 or something. We were leaving the movie theater and the dude came to the car. I thought it was the dude knew the dude because the dude I was with was Mexican. So this other guy looked like that. And I was in somewhere else. But he pulled this gun on us. I remember it had a long barrel. And he was like, give me your wallet. So he gave him a wallet. And then he was like, you too, bitch, give me your purse. I said, well, wait a minute. I ain't got to be a bitch. You the one that's pulling the gun on us. And so, my homeboy was like, just give him. So I gave him the wallet. And he was like, this ain't no wallet. I said, give me your wallet. I'm going to kill you. I said, that's the wallet. What you want? You the stupidest criminal I have ever met. And so the dude is like, just give it to him. I'm like, he got it. He got it. You know what?
Did it have money in it? What do you mean it's not a wallet? I'm giving it back.
It had money in it, but he gave it back to me, and he took my empty purse. So I was just like, and then my friend was like, he said, "Don't ever do that again. I don't ever do that again if we're in that situation."
Yeah, Shiny about that life. Yeah, no, gunpoint is different.
Wait a minute,
Shiny, gunpoint is different.
No, I don't. But is that word the B word? That like when he said that, I'm like, wait a minute, you got a gun on me, and I'm the bitch. You got a gun on me, and I'm the bitch. Like for real. Okay, come on.
Full Queen Latifah on him. the gun didn't present any problem. The gun was okay. But when he went around and called you out your name, see that's that cultural part that disconnects. He didn't know who he was talking to. See, a black robber, burglar, whatever you want to call it. I don't know the difference. I don't rob people. But a black stick-up kid would have been like, "Can I have your purse, ma'am?" He would have known the gun was okay, but he need to make sure he shows some respect while he robbed y'all.
Yeah, he calling me. I'm for real. We out in the movie parking lot and you doing this.
This ain't no wallet.
Dang. And
now
then
you the fashion police. You a robber and the fashion police telling me what a wallet is.
Gotta love it. So all right, so shifting gears. So we have the good Dr. Aaron Smith here. Of course, in the news, first thing I thought about when I saw this, I thought about you. The guy over in South Jersey, what was his name? Shiny Edward
Cagney Matthews.
So of course everyone knows about the racist rant. And he told
on the map.
He said, "Pull up." He called everybody out, gave the address out, put the pin on it, as they say, and say, "Yo, holla at me." They hollered at him. I need your thought. Well, first, Shiny, play the. I guess what happened when they all got there and the cops took them out. Just play a little clip to remind people, and then I want to get the good doctor's thought process on that.
Wait a minute.
Bring them out, bring them out, bring them out, bring them
I
out.
feel like I missed a party. You ever hear about a party or you see, you be like, "Damn, I should have went to that one." That's how that. I was about to go. Shit got out there, man. Y'all turning up. Oh, I guess
but did y'all see the man with the Black Lives Matter flag that kept popping him in the head?
No, I saw the flag going. It was
okay. Watch this. Watch this.
With a do-rag.
I didn't see it earlier.
Like Big pointed that out. He was like, "You didn't see the man and beating him with the flag." I'm like, He popped him like 4 times.
That's ironic because on January 6th, when they were hurting that officer that ended up losing his life, one of the the problems was that they were yelling "Blue Lives Matter" and all that, and they were attacking the police. And one of the men in the January 6th insurrection was using the flag to hurt the law enforcement officer. So it's just funny how the table turned, I guess. And there's a historic picture from Boston, back in the day of a white man, trying to jam a flagpole at an African American. So this whole hypocrisy, the symbolic hypocrisy of, this liberty and justice being used as a weapon to oppress people. Now it's, turned back on them. Now we got flags. Now we, no, I think that it's really interesting. And I think we need to make sure that we realize that there are people working right now to ensure that never happens again. One thing that African Americans don't do, we take a lot of time celebrating the victories, which we should, but we need to temper that and realize that as we make progress, there's always plans for a backlash. Mitch McConnell and others during the CNN special were talking about the victory of Barack Obama, and they said that they had a meeting the night of the inauguration. So while we're watching Beyonce sing Etta James at Last, and how beautiful it was for Michelle to hold Barack and everything. Mm-hmm. They were meeting in DC just down the street, planning to make sure that nothing he did succeeded. And they admitted that. So we need to realize that when we're celebrating, they're going to watch that video and say, "Oh, never again." Because if they realize their power, which is what usually happens when we make some progress, they have to ensure that the laws are changed and there's going to be different statutes. They're going to be justified in clearing crowds. And back in the day, there was no right to assemble for African Americans, right? 3 or more of us was considered a mob. Break it up. They still say that to this day, even during the Rizzo administration. If they see 4 people on a corner, they'd come break it up for no reason. If you ever watched the movie Beat Street when they were in the subway and Lee and them were battling and they arrested them for, there's always been this
just for dancing.
Y'all can't get together, right? So I would estimate in a small town, I know I'm in Montgomery County, so y'all know what we do. We unseal depositions and all that. We break your constitution right away. So I know that if they don't like what you did, they go to work on changing the rules. They call it the jockey syndrome. Back in the day, the African-American enslaved African-Americans were jockeys. And when they started winning money as jockeys, the first, 4 or 5 Kentucky Derby winners were African-American. The reason why all the jockeys now are white are because once it became lucrative, the white jockeys literally sometimes ran them off physically and changed the rules to make sure that the black jockeys were not, at the forefront of the sport. So every time they changed the rules, whether it's Lou Alcindor when he first did the dunk, they tried to outlaw the slam dunk, right? Simone Biles right now is doing moves nobody could do. So they say, oh, nobody could do those moves, right? They've been doing this forever, moving the goalposts, changing the rules. They call it the jockey syndrome, and it works with social justice as well. So I just want the people of Mount Laurel, although they should be commended, on their unity and on their strategy. Just know that the devil don't sleep, and they are making sure that you will not be, dictating who gets arrested in the future, at least not utilizing the same strategy. So we got to stay one step ahead, and we were one step ahead with that one. So
how can they stop that? Literally, it was, of course the arrest came because it was too many people out there, and they didn't want to have that go through the overnight hours because anything can, happen overnight. So I think they forced their hand to arrest them. But how could you stop a peaceful protest? How can you stop? They can stop that? No, right?
I'm going to give you one that they just did, because I don't know how many people that are listening remember when there was in Florida a move. State level Republicans are making it easier to run over protesters. Oklahoma passed a law protecting drivers who hit protesters. Florida anti-rioting law will make it easier to run over protesters. Governor Ron DeSantis signs anti-riot bill into law. So when we were Black Lives Matter and they was in traffic, they was sitting back writing laws saying we need to run these over. And now they put it into law. You can look it up. I see April 25th, 2021. So right when we finished doing all that marching, they finished changing all those laws. So that's one example of how they can do it. So the same way, remember how they in Dennis the Menace, hey kids, get off my lawn? Don't be surprised if there's some lawn act that comes out with stand your ground. So when you start crowding around these racist house and they just take aim like a watchtower and sniping and picking us off, they're going to enact the Lawn Act. And they're going to say, well, you know, the Lawn Act says that I didn't know if they were going to come through the window or not. And the new Lawn Act says, so I'm thinking, according to history, like they think, because that's how you're effective. A police officer got to think like a criminal, right? When they do those to catch a predator, they have to understand how sick these people are. So I understand how they think. So I say right now, they probably trying to figure out a way to keep black people from unifying and getting white people locked up and forcing the cops' hand when they don't want to make moves they don't want to make, the same way they was trying to justify running over people. And if they could justify killing you, they definitely going to justify you not linking up to change, you know, who gets arrested. So just just keep your head on swivel, black people. That's all I'm saying.
Wow,
that was deep. Caught me off guard with that one. You can run
Dang,
over.
they can run over people, and that's everywhere in the United States. That's everywhere in the United States.
I see Florida and Oklahoma on when I googled it, but Ron DeSantis was one of the main ones. Anti-riot bill grants civil immunity. So the same thing we're complaining about the police having. They're trying to give that to all the races. They trying to deputize like they did during Black Wall Street in Oklahoma. They came out there and they said to that white mob, they said, y'all are all deputized because the sheriff has the right to make a deputy on the spot like that and say, you with us. So when they was going to do the mob against the black people and burn their town down and have them face the choice between burning alive in their house and coming out and getting shot, the sheriff was like, he organized and said, y'all all deputies now, let's go and go at it. So right now, that same qualified immunity that the police enjoy while it allows them to kill us, it says Ron DeSantis, Florida governor, signs the anti-riot bill that grants civil immunity. So now you don't need qualified immunity. You don't have to have a government job. You just need to be you know, gun and a wink, right? And a nod. Civil immunity to grant to drivers who hit protesters and protects police budgets from being cut. 2 for 1. They say throw your punches in combinations. Harder to defend against 2 punches than it is against 1. So while you yelling defund the police, we protecting the police funding. And at the same time, this anti-riot bill in Florida is protecting the police budget and protecting the people that kill you. Great.
That's
I'm just saying we got to strategize.
I would have never thought that. That's deep. But I know they so back with Edward, I think they got him some latest charges. So I think because they charged him with some new stuff, right? And I believe we have the image. Let's see what they charged him with recently. 45 years old, was charged Thursday with criminal mischief, possession of a weapon and a slingshot. Yeah, for an unlawful purpose, possession of controlled dangerous substance, stalking, possession of drug paraphernalia, and other So they added new charges onto him. And I guess the slingshot, they found that he had a slingshot and some marble balls that was showing damage to a neighbor's car. I guess he was using a slingshot to ping up people's vehicles and damage it. So he was basically terrorizing the neighbors. And they found he had a bunch of mushrooms, so he was into the drugs. So that's the drug paraphernalia. He was doing the mushrooms. So they got these new charges that they tacking on. And I wonder if they would have did all this if it wasn't for this outcry, because Stacey's out there now, and Stacey said the cops has been there all week outside his house still. So you think they added these new charges on just to save face, or is it a case of they legit trying to get him?
Oh, no. There's never been a moral shift or an epiphany in terms of justice for African Americans. Abraham Lincoln didn't sign the Emancipation Proclamation because he realized African Americans were human beings. He signed it because it was politically expedient. When the civil rights happened and 68 occurred, when Dr. King was assassinated and 110 cities started to burn, and they asked, how did it happen? How can we prevent it? They said, give them some stuff. And they started seeing, different hirings and affirmative action plans. They didn't give us that stuff and treat us differently because of seeing us differently. They treat us differently because we stopped, having the nonsense, and it was at risk to them. It was going to cost them too much to continue business as usual. So that's always the reason historically why things have changed. And we realize that because the second that we're not as diligent and the second that we're not, forcing the hand of the establishment, they'll go right back. They'll change the Voting Rights Act. They'll enact more mass incarceration and have you back on a chain gang. Literally, like you can go back in bondage today. You could break a law, or you can go protest. You can get run over, and if you got a warrant, you can be on a chain gang by the end of the night. So no freedom to assemble, no freedom of speech, and no freedom to your own labor not being exploited. It can happen within 24 hours. You could be on a chain gang after getting run over, protesting, exercising your constitutional rights, and they are working to do more every day to, take you back to the times where they're more comfortable. No, they were outside the house, and honestly, it's usually a property damage, concern. That's one of the major concerns in America that people don't realize. People don't care about people. That's why when these people get offered up, whether it's Derek Chauvin or this gentleman, any war has casualties. I'll offer up a few people, especially if they so silly and sloppy that they're getting caught on tape and using marbles and stupidness. No, he's not a good racist. The racists that work in the government for 50 years without people knowing that they're affiliated with white power organizations, those are the ones we're going to protect. We're going to protect Mitch McConnell. We're not protecting him. He's a low-level guy. If he gets caught, he's expendable. He's the guy that we may think is on our team, like they did when them first enslaved Africans were trying to build with the poor whites when they had Bacon's Rebellion and they got together and burned down the capital of Virginia. The elite whites realized, we need these poor whites to be on code, even if they not partaking in the spoils. So they told these poor whites, we're going to make y'all the slave patrol. We're going to give y'all this. We're going to give y'all the crumbs. And y'all white, y'all with us. And ever since then, they've been voting outside their interest, working for some elite white people, and always being the expendable ones, ending up with no teeth on crystal meth with a Confederate flag, while the real elites don't never touch the block and live in a place where black people ain't never been since they was on the plantation. So there's always been this divide and this deception with poor whites, and they've been the most deceived, exploited class when it comes to, people other than African Americans in the United States. And that continues to this day, where they look at him like, thank you for doing your frontline work. Like, a suicide mission for the military. They'll let you go out there. But then when you get caught, we don't know you, right? If you get caught, we're not going to claim you. This is a special mission. This message will self-destruct.
Yeah, no teeth.
This crystal meth message will self-destruct. So you go out there and call them names. You go out there and beat them up. You ride your trucks and terrorize them. But if you get caught, we police, we congressmen, we got to act like we don't know you. We might give you a lighter sentence. That might be the best we could do. Shout out Derek Chauvin and others. But if you get caught, you kind of on your own, at least until the appeal process. So no, this is the way it's always worked. They're gonna actually look better by grabbing him, and then behind the scenes treat him a little differently. But yeah,
and it was obvious that the cop knew him because he called him by name. Carney, go back to your room. Go back to your house. Okay, like they were calling him by name.
He said, "Go talk to the N-words." He said that on tape. Go talk to them.
Yeah, go talk to them.
And the cop says, "Don't say that." That was the officer's response. Don't say that. Now, if I said something, if I just say, "Hey, you go talk to your pig partners," he would not have been like, "Don't say that." He would have been like, "Don't get your face scraped on the concrete again." So just this whole notion is these two systems of justice. You have to understand when somebody don't like you and just act accordingly. As long as we're under the delusion, hey, maybe they're coming around. Like, I think our ancestors would jump out the grave and smack us in the face if we in 2021 were to assume that the majority of people in America look at black people and other people the same, even amongst black people.
So with Edward, when I saw the Edward, and then I saw that you basically may have went viral. I saw a little clip of the good doctor. I guess you could break down what happened. I know we have maybe we could play the clip and then you could break it down. So basically, you had a little fender bender.
I could set it up. No. I was parallel parking. I don't even want to confuse the audience. I was already in the spot. So when you back up into a spot, you're going about 4 miles an hour, and then when you move back up, you might be going 1 or 2 miles an hour.
Yeah, true.
So I'm going 1 mile an hour. I'm already in the spot, moving up, and the front of my car touches the car in front of me as I'm parallel parking, and then this ensues.
I can't walk around saying I'll break you.
I didn't say I could.
You said
I didn't say I would break you.
You said I could.
I could.
You're wrong. You're wrong for the way you approached me. That was wrong the way you approached me. And I said sorry.
The way you think I approach, it doesn't matter.
But after someone apologizes,
what you did is against the law.
To bump somebody's car?
Yes. Well, that's
there was nothing there the first bump. You saw nothing there.
But the second one.
Because you were threatening me, and I said I'm escaping.
So if
you
I
can't
come out,
people.
if I'm a lot bigger than you and you feel threatened, that means you don't want to hear it. If I'm bigger than you,
it's not about being bigger. It's not about being bigger. It's about being a racist jerk who's being aggressive.
You
just did it again on camera.
Please back up, sir. You get it on camera. I don't give a.
Wow. All right.
Wow.
So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking
Smith doubted about it. He ain't care. Listen, I think I can take you to Oak Cliff.
No, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about that, the man with the staples in his head and all that. And I'm like, you got children now. You're a professor. You know, you got to react differently. I sent the video to some of my old friends, and they were like, "Oh man, you grew a lot." They said you was patient, and you was explaining to him, and I was trying to educate him. They thought that was hilarious, just hearing me talk to this man who looked like he was on something, and just to not split his head, But
so just from bumping his bumper, he took his shirt off, and now you want to fight.
No, his shirt was already off. Something up with the man. He'd be in his car. Apparently, he'd be in his car all day. I don't know if he worked construction or if he just in between highs. I don't know what's going on with the gentleman. Something ain't quite right. But I mean, when I say bump the car, like
you tapped it.
And there's times when you tap people's car and you be like, ooh, like I tapped their car a little bit. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like boom and their car moved, because sometimes I've done that too. Where you back up and you be like, oh, I'm glad they wasn't in their car because I bumped them a little something, right? So I'm not talking about that. That usually happens me moving back. I moved up, the car touched. He comes jumping out like he been waiting all his life. So when he gets out, I say, I'm sorry. I continue parking. I'll go ahead and look back straight. I'm sorry. He's still there. I'm looking like, I'm sorry. Right? I'm not even recording none of this. He's yelling, you can't effing drive. I'm like, why? Even if I can't, like, okay, like that don't mean you're not the driving police. And I realized when he said this line, he says against the law. And one thing that African Americans need to realize is there's a law of the land that's written, but there for African Americans are often unwritten laws that serve to a greater extent to govern our behavior or interaction with the dominant society. The reason why people are like, why are you laughing? Why are you sleeping? Why are you selling water? Why are you barbecuing? Why are you here? Why do you exist? Is because I think a lot of Black people don't realize the unwritten laws that have so much more to do with why these things take place. It's like, how dare you be free? I think Jesse Williams was talking about that when he got that BET award. He gave that speech that went viral. He was talking about Sandra Bland, or you should just behave and comply. And he said, you keep saying we got freedoms. So she would be alive if she wasn't acting so free. Right? Like, so once you start driving and talking and enjoying life and sleeping and driving cars, like people, I don't think enough African Americans realize that's the problem. Because then we sit and we debate, we try to figure out, all he did was have some Skittles and why did they do this and why did they follow him? Because he's not supposed to exist as a free person. And once you understand that, then you can understand the history of the slave patrols. Then you understand the history of people needing to show their papers. Then you can understand the whole birther movement, wanting Obama to show his birth certificate. A guy named Neely Fuller Jr. says, if you don't understand racism and white supremacy, everything else you try to understand will only confuse you. Every day you're gonna wake up wondering what's going on. Why would they kill him? If Philando Castile said he had his license. You missing it. You think this about a license. You missing it if you think this really about Zimmerman trying to figure out whether Trayvon lived there. You think he cared where he lived? You think this was about jurisdiction in terms of about property rights? Like, you really think that Michael Brown was shot 50 yards away because Darren Wilson really thought he was about to fly like a mutant X-Man
and come on and attack him?
You already have a physical altercation with this gentleman. Mm-hmm. He's 40 to 70 yards away. You unload into him. And you got people saying, well, I don't know. He said he was charging back at him and, he was charging a man with a gun. There's always been this myth of Black people with subhuman intelligence and superhuman strength. So they always said, we dumb, but we super strong. So this whole thing, we says, I felt like a child and he was Hulk Hogan. Like, if you don't realize what's really going on, you really think somebody's scared when they're standing over you and they got a radio and a shotgun in their car and they got mace and they got handcuffs and they got a gun sometimes drawn on you. You really think they scared? So when somebody says, I fear for my life, you can get wrapped up in that nonsense all day and really be studying video like, oh, it looked like he moved. It
looked like he stepped towards him. Yeah, he was going his direct. Yeah, you start justifying it.
It would be 10,000 murders in every major city if the average Black citizen acted like police officers. For all the fist fights we see after school, right, outside the club, now, if we act like police officers, split-second decision. Somebody swung on me. Somebody pushed me in the club. Somebody stepped on my shoe. Nobody else has the right to talk that kind of nonsense about how to interact with human beings. When you're afraid, you deal with it. That's what everybody else does. That's what I do when I'm afraid. I don't get to kill anybody. I have no right to kill anybody because I'm afraid. Ever.
You thinking some of those cops are just scared, like they're just not built for the job?
No, I think that's the trick. The red herring is I can always just say I'm scared to send you down the rabbit hole of watching the tape and trying to see when I move instead of saying, wait a minute. I just watched a white man with a hammer hitting a cop in the head, and he didn't get arrested or even take. I watched a man go into a church and kill people and get taken to birth. Like that don't add up. That can't be the reason, or you would be killing white people at the same rate who do the same things. So once you see that they've never done this to an older white woman ever in life, they've moved, they've argued, they've not complied. You tell me no white woman over 30
call them names.
They be the main ones. My dad will have your effing job. Like what? They be the main ones not complying. So don't say
you know who I am?
Exactly. They told us Sandra Bland was talking. White people are I remember Martin Lawrence, all them people was talking about white people getting stopped by the cops, their white friend and being in shock. Same way Shawn said, don't ever do that again, right? Because we are always surprised and shocked at how they tell the police off and do what they want. So let's not even pretend that could even possibly be the reason, or else all these privileged, entitled white people will be getting shot in their freaking face every day for telling police officers off, driving away, walking away, and doing what they want and getting caught with every kind of thing in the car. So no, that's why I say we have to realize what's really going on. What's really going on is you was never supposed to be free. The documents say in bondage in perpetuity, meaning forever. The reason why they keep saying make America great again, the reason why they say the South will rise again, the reason why they still tour in plantations like they Disney World. You can look online right now. They're reenacting the Civil War and the Revolutionary War all the darn time. They go to these plantations, and there's a story recently where a white couple got mad because the plantation tour focused too much on slavery. They want to just have fun and talk about the gentry and the mint juleps and all that. They want to have that reminiscing, wishing they was around during that time. But if you type in plantation tours and you watch them walking around, they are not walking around like they do for these Holocaust camps. These concentration camps. They're not walking around for atonement. They're not walking around to learn lessons of history to do things better. They're reminiscent.
So, but that goes now back to the critical race theory, which I was watching again. It's still a heated topic where they don't want slavery, the education of slavery and the history of slavery taught in schools to educate where our country came from. They said because that's teaching all of our youth that white people are all bad, and they don't want that taught. They don't want to teach what it really is. So, like, what are your thoughts on? Is that in that same lines of not wanting to ignore where our country came from, or is it just legit? Is that going to steer people to think, oh, white people are bad because they had slaves?
But first, Kimberly Crenshaw, building on the scholarship of Derek Bell, created critical race theory in law school. It's a legal theory of the ways in which race impacts society and institutions. This was taught in law schools. This has nothing to do with K through 12 education. Some people have borrowed some of the theories over time, but nobody who I've ever met in my life has been taught critical race theory in K through 12 or has taught it as an educator. And I know nobody listening remembers being in school, learning about critical race theory. So let's not do what they're doing. They want to conflate learning the truth with critical race theory. So there's two separate issues. One is critical race theory, which is a straw man, red herring, fake story, fake news, as though there's really this threat of people coming into school teaching this legal theory, which is not happening, never happened. White people didn't know what to do with the truth that was being taught. They found an umbrella term and they ran with it. Critical race theory is not what we're talking about when we talk about 1619 Project or the truth about slavery. Critical race theory is a whole different thing. Now, in terms of the 1619 Project and people teaching, just the truth of America, that's always been a problem, even but when we were being chastised and penalized for learning to read. The truth was always a problem to the American experiment. That's why we had a slave Bible where 90% of the Bible was, taken out. And they was only saying slaves obey your masters and all that kind of stuff. There was always a lie. Like if you ever worked in Disney World, I think Lauryn Hill on her second album, the Unplugged one, she says she was a celebrity, so they took her around the back. And she said when she saw all the undocumented workers and all the suffering and exploitation that was required to maintain the illusion that she was previously enjoying, she couldn't enjoy it the same way no more. Once she knew the truth about the lie that she was loving, she couldn't go back out to Disney World and be like, this is great, and sing. It's a small world after all, and watch the parade. She knows there's people all behind these walls, running behind these little channels and in tunnels, to make sure that when I drop a piece of litter before it hits the ground, somebody comes picks it up. So yes, it's beautiful here. Everything's wonderful. But there's people working extra hard. When you leave, they still working. And before you got here, they was working for hours and they're not getting paid right. They're not getting treated right. So once she saw behind the scenes, like the Wizard of Oz, once they realized the wizard was just a little short man with a megaphone, nothing else scared them the same. And that's always been the fear of those who maintain the matrix and the illusion. Once you learn, like I said, when Mike was asking, what's the secret? Once you learn one piece of truth, you're like, oh, you're not who you said you were. Well, I'll give you one example. The definition of American and most people never know it. I'm gonna do 1828 Noah Webster. Some people are familiar with the name from Webster's Dictionary. But if you type in American, Noah Webster, American definition, it's gonna say, I'm gonna read it right to the people who might be listening. Pertaining to America, native of America, originally applied to the aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. They did the switcheroo on you from day one. The birthright, your identity, and even your name, American. They admitted who the Americans were, but over time, they said, well, hell, cultural appropriation on fleek. We the Americans. We got the power. We making the definitions and the laws. Why are we going to keep admitting that who they are? Right? It's bad enough we got to admit that every time we say Aboriginal and Native is somebody brown, meaning they was here first. We got to kind of concede that linguistically. But as far as this whole American title, now you got people again with the 3 teeth and the crystal meth and the Confederate flags. I'm American. I'm a real American. It's like, actually, you a bootleg second grade wave 2.0 watered down version of the original copper colored Americans who your ancestors encountered when they finally got here. But they won't show that. That's in the dictionary. No, the Webster's Dictionary, 1828. So you let them find you a definition before then. They won't be able to find one. So what they do is bury it. Bury the lies.
Is there some truth though when they say that by teaching the slavery, you're teaching that white people are bad? Like, can that be the takeaway if you're teaching about the history of slavery? Can that be? Because that's their biggest argument. Don't teach our kids that we were racist.
So the rule of thumb would be, so the theme of this conversation would be, the biggest argument is never the biggest threat.
The biggest
argument is never the biggest threat. Because they were like, oh, we don't want them fighting in the military. That wasn't what you was worried about. We don't want them drinking from water fountains. That wasn't what you was worried about. Every time they had something up front that they were saying was the issue, Ruby Bridges can't sit down at this desk because what? What's really what you're afraid of? Because it's not like you think black people got some cooties and proximity to black people going to destroy you. So when they when Ruby Bridges finally got into that school, 99% of the white parents took their kids out, and the majority of them went on to private school in white flight and never came back to these school districts again. But it wasn't because of being close to black people, because like comedian Paul Mooney, rest in peace, noted, when we was enslaved, you didn't mind us being in the house or even in your bed. But now that we free, you got a problem with us going in the same school and living in the same neighborhood. Somebody playing the game. So when they try to pretend, oh, we don't want our kids in the same building. You didn't mind us being in the same building when we was in bondage. You didn't mind us being in your bed. You would come out of our house into our slave quarters when we was in bondage. So don't act like you got no problem being close to black folk. So the biggest argument is never the true biggest threat. So when they start saying, we don't want us to feel guilty, is that really what it is? You don't want to feel bad? Or do you not want the enslaved 2.0 African Americans to break their chains the way that their predecessors did? Because you were able to replace some physical chains with some mental chains. And that's proof positive of all the sliding, spinning the blocks and the drug culture and epidemic in the hip hop and people not going to HBCUs like they probably should if they knew history. Like, it's a lot of things that are evident that black people have missed a lot of the lessons of freedom, of Reconstruction, of the civil rights era. You can look at the average black family, black curriculum, black church, you can look and say, wow, there's a lot of things that we already learned and already did and already proved their work that y'all don't seem to be doing now, or else you would have another Black Wall Street. How Black Wall Street burned down 100 years ago and you ain't even got a piece of one nowhere, in the world for real? Because obviously there's some of these lessons, right? There's some of these jewels that they know we ain't got now. And if we start excavating and digging back into history, we might pick apart some things and find some keys to some locks and end up getting out of some bondage, that they don't want us in, because their success, like France said about Haiti and Africa, if Africa ever sold their goods at market value, he said France would fall to a third world country within one generation. The leader of France is like, no, if Africa gets independent and free and gets control of themselves, all these European nations that depend on African exploitation are going to fall. Make of it what you will, but they admitted it. Like, without them under us, we not propped up. So a lot of people in America understand the example that was set at the fall of apartheid. The example I would give you was after apartheid, they did all these stories of all these white people who used to live lavish, but now they were living like people in Kensington. People used to have servants and mansions, but now that black people weren't subordinate simply by color, The black people were going and getting engineering degrees. They were like a slingshot. They've been waiting for generations, to have a chance. So the black people in Africa after apartheid were like black people after enslavement, Reconstruction. They've been waiting all their life for this chance. So they was going abroad like Barack Obama's father. And, they was ready to work and go. And the white people who have been leaning on other people their whole life for the last 3 generations, they didn't know what to do. That's why you find these white millionaires jumping off bridges when they go from 10 million to 5 million. Like Dave Chappelle made a note that his friend was working at Foot Locker and never thought to commit suicide, even though, the guy, on CNN traveling the world, eating all the good food was, killed himself. So this whole notion of who we are has always been a cause of fear for other people. And I think black people should really realize what the true problem is, that we might stop being slaves if we learn the truth about slavery. It's not about them feeling bad. It's almost like a guy saying, I don't want you to look through my phone because I want you to trust me. That ain't the real reason, brother. People can relate to the ratchet examples, right? No, it ain't even about what's in the phone. It's about what's in our hearts. It's about our connection.
Let me see it. Then.
And because the women ain't going for what you proposing. The women are like, no, your argument is not what the threat is. The threat is you about to get caught. And that's what I am. As an educator, I'm thinking the threat ain't about you feeling bad about how somebody think about you. The threat is that the truth is going to come out about a whole lot of things, and mainly about wealth. That's one of the big ones. You got your suburbs because there was no money down. You came here and got head right program privileges, which was 50 acres for free. Can you imagine 50 acres of land? Homestead Act, giving people homes for free. When they was mad and being racist and yelling at Ruby Bridges, they got rewarded for that with all white suburbs, Levittown, all these white suburbs. They would say no mosquitoes, no Negroes. So if somebody's always coddling you, always treating you right for acting wrong, you're not in a good position to deal with equality, because they say that, equality feels like oppression when you're used to privilege. So right now we need to be really thankful. All the people that grew up, in the hood and had struggles, we should be laughing right now. That's why I didn't get mad at the man on the video. And I said it before, racism is like a fish that you pulled out the water that's flopping around in the boat. It's dying. It's going to act like that. It's going to be extreme. It's going to be extra. If a swordfish might even try to hurt you, you just got to stand back and know that you breathe air. This fish don't. You know how to struggle. We've been struggling in America. Struggling in America don't do nothing to us. You don't never hear black people talking about something. Oh my God, I don't know what we're going to do after 2020. We know what we're going to do. Same thing we did on the plantation. Same thing we did in the hood. Same thing we always going to do. We're going to share sugar. We're going to dye our hair with Kool-Aid. We're going to say whatever. The majority of the time we've been here, we've had absolutely nothing. You got to think, we were in bondage for 250 years. We've only been free for about 160. So we have more experience with absolutely no fruits of our labor, and sometimes no contact with our own family members than we do in America. So for us, we sitting back like watching that fish. We like, oh, y'all ain't never been through this. Y'all know how it feels to not have what you want. We call it life. So black people should really be like, the truth is going to come out. You can't stop the internet. I saw people on TikTok, like I said before, about the Gloria Steinem critique. Same thing about slavery. You got kids sharing the truth in 10 minutes. What used to take you, a whole lifetime to bring to the world, to travel to Africa, to have these lectures they used to have at the slave theater in different places around the country. It used to be a big movement to try to get people to learn. There'd be people on 125th, selling books and all this different stuff. Now, all you got to do is press a button. You can't stop it. You can't get in these kids' phones. And that's why they try to inundate them with a lot of sexuality and nonsense and drug abuse and Little Nas X and fight videos. And because they know if they don't flood it completely to try to flush out all the truth and give them an appetite for nonsense and ignorance, at some point, even just because they're bored, they're going to press the wrong button and the facade will end. The matrix will be discovered.
So my wife just texted me a whole paragraph. They don't want black kids to know how powerful we are, to have overcome and succeed all of the shit that was thrown our way and keeps getting thrown at us. They keep holding on to the CRT, I guess the critical race theory would teach black kids they can't succeed because they are black. Fake caring to keep them down. So I don't even know.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that is a big part of it too. Like once they tried to take the narrative about enslavement, like, throughout the whole process. They, the Gone with the Wind with the happy slaves singing, right? There's always been this thing about after it's over, we want to tell the story. We want to do all this stuff to you. We want to have breeding farms and sex farms. We have children, in these sex farms, and we want to use your skin to make shoes and wallets, and we want to use your body parts as souvenirs. But we want to tell the story about it. So we're going to bury most of it. And then the part we do tell is because you deserved it. And we want to make it a lucky to be free. And we're going to make it a white man free juice, like I said, with Juneteenth. You never hear people talk about the suffrage movement and give credit to Woodrow Wilson. Not one time in your life did you hear these women need to really be thankful because Woodrow Wilson gave them the right to vote. No, there was a whole movement. There was a whole, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Sojourner Truth, like Ida B. Wells. People fought and sometimes even, sacrificed their life to ensure equal rights. So they always gave the agency and the credit to the people who did the work. When it comes to African Americans, Abraham Lincoln was the emancipator. He freed y'all. Since when did the person who was forced to sign the paper later get the credit? So these kind of tricks, when you start to analyze history, you say, yeah, you're right. When they talk about women's rights, they always talk about the women who fought for women's rights. They never talk about the person who signed the paper. Most people didn't even know until I just said it, that Woodrow Wilson was the one in office at the time.
Yeah, when you said that, it was.
Okay, so when they play these games, again, these cards, like these shell games, you got to be like, wait a minute. But that's what happens in a classroom. You got time today. So we could sit back and analyze and compare things and be like, yo, you're right. When it comes to us, they never want to give us credit for, and we actually do more of the fighting. So yeah, when you're in a classroom and you can look at life that way and start to analyze, you start to learn how to think. It's not about the facts. It's about Black people starting to step back and peep game. So then they can apply it to other games. They go out to the street and say, wow, I see the effects of the Head Right program and the Homestead Act in the all-white suburbs. So now when I walk through my ghetto in North Philly, I don't feel like it has anything to do with a pathology of African Americans being underachievers or being violent or anything they try to say. I did the history. If I was given 50 acres and if I was given no money down houses and if I was protected in my suburbs and other people getting harassed, I would be them and they would be me. The only reason why they're them is because of this history and then it's like ain't nothing special about you. Your so-called magical glow is gone. I'm not averting my gaze and looking down when I look at you no more because my grandfather had to do it to stay alive. Because I'm learning that that's the only reason he did it. He wasn't a punk either. He just wanted to make sure I had a chance. So instead of despising my own ancestors and my grandparents wearing stupid t-shirts like, I'm not my ancestors, you can catch these hands and all this nonsense, you start to say, wow, they were strategizing and doing what they had to do to get us in position so that we could look people dead in the eyes and have what we need to have and see through the lies and not think there's anything special about other people and know that if anything, there's something special about us because we got a unique experience.
Nice. And with the Juneteenth, they can't even teach that in school, right? Like that. Like,
well, it's a day off. That's how they probably gonna play it. I would teach you, but it's a day off. No, but I think the beauty of Juneteenth is the fact that never again will people have to say, "I didn't know what Juneteenth was all my life."
But if they can't teach it in school, how would you know as a kid? You just know.
Well, no, kids usually know when it's a day off. Because I used to even know, I'd be like, it's a Jewish holiday or whatever the day off is. I think that it'll give us an opportunity. I think that's part of our responsibility as parents and educators, to make sure. Because my mom used to keep me home for Dr. King Day before it was a holiday. She said, you staying home. And she told me.
Nice.
And plus, he said, you wouldn't even be in the school with Dr. King anyway. So, you might as well stay home in this white school. And they'd be like, and I used to love coming back to school. They'd be like, well, you were absent. I say, it was Dr. King's birthday. They all uncomfortable. Like, oh, why? Like they said, we was here. Yeah, I bet you was. No, I think the Malcolm made a great point when he said only a fool would trust his enemies to educate his children. Only a fool would allow his enemies to educate his children. So when you sending your children to school thinking they learning, the joke's on you.
Yeah.
So if you want to know how they're gonna learn Juneteenth in the age of the internet, like I did a Juneteenth video. I did a Juneteenth video for 25 minutes where I did a lecture, shared my screen, and sent it out to my friends and people who I'd done presentations for. So any child that didn't know, here, 20 minutes, free. There you go. Right?
If you got that somewhere, it's like on YouTube or something.
Yeah, can you share it?
Video, but our plan is to do videos like that, and do a lot of content creation where people could at least access a basic curriculum of what it means to be Black in America, just the basics. Like Abraham Lincoln didn't free you. Because what happens is people start to rebel against people like Black police officers and Black military because they don't know the role of the colored troops in preserving the country. Lincoln didn't enlist those colored troops, those 200,000 colored troops, because he wanted them to fight. He enlisted them because he was losing. If it wasn't for those African Americans, 180 to 200,000 African Americans, Buffalo Soldiers and others, we would have a Confederate, slave-holding, secessionist, treasonous nation where we would probably be closer to bondage than we are now. If the slave-holding territories, the Confederacy, who were willing to go against the Constitution, they renounced their dedication to the Constitution. They started writing up their own constitutions. These were traitors. The only reason those traitors didn't win is because those black people came as the cavalry, literally, and saved the nation. We look at those people and say, why would you serve in the military? You're so silly. Because there was this new wave of activism that removed all the historical perspective. So now black people that are so-called woke don't work, don't participate in America, and they give speeches and they make blogs because that's what the enemy would want. I would want you to be an activist who has no activity. I want you to be an activist who has no impact, right? But that's what you want. You want the activist to wear the shirt, give the speech, do the blog, and then when he dies, there's no institution built. That's why we look down on Booker T. Washington, although he built Tuskegee, but we love all these speech makers who did nothing but talk and get shot. Nothing against them, but you got to think, dag, why do we always talk down about the one person who left us an institution that we can literally send our children to be educated to this day? Were we tricked? Were we, you know, it's like the mice and cheese. Everybody's like, go that way, go that way. Oh yeah, he talking good talk. Go that way, black people. It's like, no, what's over here though? Oh no, just somebody who built a college. But go down there, he giving a good speech, a heck of a speech. And then we start rallying, we wear the t-shirts, and I love this brother.
We need the speech though. We need that. That must motivation.
Oh, if we don't understand the necessity of how they counter, you know, each other, how they interplay, then we're lost. Because an overemphasis and an imbalance could be worse than inaction, in and of itself. If you only do one thing, you might be worse than just being neutral. So if you talk, plus if you study COINTELPRO and how we were interrogated and infiltrated and neutralized, right? How we were discredited, how they had all these informants. The last thing a black person who understands history should be doing is too much talking. So when I meet a black person and they doing too much blogging and too much videoing and too much talking about strategy and all that, I say, oh, you don't know history. Or you an agent yourself because you're doing what they want you to do. If you got an enemy, what you want them to do is tell you their plans. That's one of the first rules of warfare. Know your enemy. So what they want to do, like they're doing now, is to go on Instagram. They can see who's beefing with who. They can see what guns you got. They said they arrested rapper Pooh Shiesty because they zoomed in and saw serial numbers on the money he was flashing that was connecting with the robbery.
Wow.
So they using the type of cameras that can zoom in and read serial numbers on dollar bills. And I say it all the time. If you're not as sophisticated as your enemy, you can't expect liberation. We wasn't thinking on that level. Don't even play. I don't care who listening. Don't act like you was thinking to zoom in on serial numbers on people flashing cash on IG, because I wasn't. That's a whole nother level of
that is. It's like, dang.
But you know how bad you gotta want to get somebody to do that? And that's what people always say. You don't understand the mind of your enemy. You don't understand the mind of the people who will sit all day and dedicate their whole lives to destroying black lives. George Wallace, like segregation now, segregation before, segregation forever. He dedicated his whole life to keeping black people, KKK. There's whole groups. The militias and the paramilitary groups skyrocketed during Obama. People are dedicating their whole lives. They training their children on farms with machine guns. They are having conservative think tanks. People are really invested in this project of making sure you do not learn, you do not get free, you do not get equal rights in this country. And until people realize that, they're gonna keep floating around and defending the wrong people and saying they're colorblind and all kind of nonsense. And a lot of the people are black and they in the way.
You just said the KKK, and I thought about it was a Texas group, KKK members that actually came to where you at near Temple. Yeah. And I think we actually might even have a clip, but the KKK, they came out, they had their faces covered, so they don't want us to know who they really are. But you got that clip, Shawnee? That's interesting. KKK.
Hi, Don. Well, police say this group was made up about 200 people, all members of this Texas-based group, Patriot Front, and they were heard yelling things like "Reclaim America" and "The election was stolen." And it all started around 10:45 last night. Video shows them marching from City Hall to Penn's Landing, wearing face coverings and carrying shields and flags. Now, police say they were met by counter-protesters and things got physical between protesters and people who weren't involved in the march. Someone from
So they 200 deep, face covered, marching. But I guess that's their. They want to say that's their peaceful protest. They can do that. But hey, what are your thoughts? KKK represent.
They need to know where they at. I think they're gonna have to. We had something called the Green Book. You know, the travel book to know where it was safe for African Americans to travel. And they had that what they call the green book, motorist book to learn where to go and where not to go. Right, certain hotels we weren't welcoming and all that. Certain townships, we didn't want to be there when the sun went down because they were literally sundown towns. They would have signs that let us know they would kill us if we were there when the sun went down, even if we could work. Right. So I think these white people need to take some of our strategy and be like, I'll tell you right now, we had 291 in murders in Philly. So you said they was 200 deep. We already killed 291 of ourselves. You really want to come down here and play? We done killed ourselves, bro. We killed each other. We killed 291 of each other. Keep marching. Keep playing. I think they're gonna regroup after that one. I think they're gonna be like, you know what? Maybe we go during the day. maybe when the sun go down, we go ahead and get on out of there because North Philly is not where you want to be talking reckless after the sun go down. You don't want to be outside. The whole term is we outside. And you don't want to be outside talking crazy. But if that's the smoke they want, you saw they was lighting little red fire bombs, whatever they had out there, jumping back in these little U-Hauls. I think that it could have been a lot worse, and they should be really lucky because the murders are up 35% right now. I mean, we back outside, but the murders are up 35%. Some of y'all might have heard the national story about, the 4th of July events where they, there was like 12 shootings in 2 hours. I think it was 24 shootings in 2 hours. John Street's son's relative. I don't know if you saw that. One of the people that were murdered on 4th of July was related to former Mayor John Street and Sharif Street. And it's serious right now. And the last thing you want is for us to channel that energy in a direction that makes sense for liberating Black people. So
that's their peaceful protest, though, right? White folks are going to say we can do that, right?
Yeah, I want them to keep it going because maybe they'll redirect some of this anger, this misplaced aggression, towards some real threats. Because that's what the Panthers did. A lot of groups were like, you know what? Why? Even Africa Bambaataa, when he was with the Black Spades and all the different gangs, when they formed Zulu Nation, that was an anti-gang movement. These gangs came together, like the movie Renegades was loosely based off of some of these gangs coming together. I would love to see that. I would love to see all these different ops and all these blocks and all these gangs finally wake up and be like, yo, let's look at the real enemy. Like the movie that spooked us out by the door when it was like, yo, why are we fighting each other? We need to go ahead and really get some real justice and really get some real power. We got all these guns. We know we all well organized with all this, but that's why they lock up an AR Ab. That's why they lock up a Big Meech. Because if these revolutions were to take place, it'll probably be these same alpha males that are leading people in one direction. They'll be leading them in another. Shout out Malcolm X. The same one that could be a leader on the street is the same one that's a leader on the street when it's time to take to the streets and fight for revolution. So they know this. So like the COINTELPRO documents said, I should probably bring that up. The COINTELPRO documents, talk about people's potential before they realize it. And there's a famous one that I always talk about that analyzes different levels of leadership. And I think this is important because I saw that Meek Mill was actually, they're alleging that he was beefing with Travis Scott. And when I see that, I always say to myself, he has to know who he is, because the movie about the Black Messiah that talked about Fred Hampton, there's some documents in COINTELPRO that mention the fear of a rise of a Black Messiah. The rise of a Black Messiah is when, they fear that there'll be somebody that'll galvanize the Black masses. Okay, so let me see if I found this one. Prevent violence on the part of, this is a different one. Prevent violence on the part of Black nationalist groups. So it's never preventing violence toward each other, right? But if you notice, even the media is complicit because every time one of our babies gets killed, what do they say? Do you forgive him? Do you forgive him? The body's still in the street. They don't ask other people this. But there's always a concerted effort since the plantations, right? They're slave breaking plantations. They called it seasoning in the Caribbean. They always made sure that whoever was rebellious, we need to identify them. When they had drapetomania, Samuel Adolphus Cartwright was what they called a Negro physician. He would go to different plantations and say, you got any problems with the Black people? Any of them getting out of line? And he would show them techniques to keep them in line, right? So they've always wanted to make sure if there's anybody who could potentially lead a revolution. That's what people miss it, where they're like, oh, Meek Mill could stay in jail. Meek Mill. They're not against Meek Mill for the same reason you were. They're against Meek Mill for the potential he might have. And they said basically that Martin Luther King has the potential. He was too ingrained in the establishment. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad had the potential, but they said he was too old to lead the kind of movement they were fearing. They said, but Stokely Carmichael had the charisma and the international influence and the potential that could lead this. They said Mau revolution. So they were looking at what happened with the Mau. So those that don't know, MAU, right? The Mau revolution, just like with Haiti, when they see Black people raise up, they always get nervous because they say this might catch on. Thomas Jefferson was writing letters after what happened in Haiti happened, with the first Black republic in the Western Hemisphere. Because he was like, yo, if they're raising up, what'll happen here? Where in Virginia, we're outnumbered sometimes 8-1 by black people. And that's what happened in Haiti. We had numbers, and then when we got the consciousness, the game changed in a day. So there's always been this concerted effort to make sure it's not about you using your potential. It's about you having it. So the reason why you see all these alpha males getting scooped up off the street is because when the protests like the one that happened in Philly, they're like, well, thank goodness we got the big meaches out of Atlanta and the AR-abs out of Philly, because if they made the call, if they put the green light out on these groups, it might have been a whole different night, because they got people who lead different organizations. I'll say street organizations that have, you see they do the sting, Jay Black. They'll say we arrested 80 people in Operation so-and-so. And you'd be like, wow, 80 people? That's going, rapper Casanova recently got arrested. They talk about the whole Gorilla Stone movement, right? They talking about, yo, this group got hundreds of people in it. So could you imagine a leader saying, yo, we tired of these racists. Green light on them. Just go.
There's no racists in America. Like Action said, white people are arguing you down. America is not racist. But in 2021, they got marches like that. I guess like they argue down they're not racism, but yet the KKK are marching 200 deep. And then they're going to bring up the fact that, well, the real issue is the black on black crime. Like, is that the elephant on the room?
I'm saying to them, it's not racism. To them, it's America. If you think about it, slavery, convict leasing, lynching, segregation, right? Like here we are. And then, and now, so to them, it is what it is. This is what it's always been. It's never been fair for you. So what are you talking about? Is kind of the sentiment. And it's like you should be happy with what you got. You got more than you had before.
Be happy.
It's always the push. You came a long way. Shut up. So for them, racism looks like the racism that they remember that they don't want us to learn about. To them, racism looks like that story their grandfather told them that they never tell. Because like even Karis made a great point. He said, where are all the KKK robes? He said, where are all the robes? Hundreds of thousands of people marching, even in DC alone. They had rallies in Madison Square Garden. Where are the robes? You know where they are? In people's freaking closet waiting to use them again. You never hear a Goodwill. Oh, they got 3,000 KKK robes, a mass burning of KKK robes. I never heard of it in my life. I never heard anybody destroying a KKK robe in my life. So apparently there's a lot of secrets that people know within cultures that they don't talk about. And a lot of people who have converted from being racist said that when they're around certain groups of people, the conversation always turns to black people, or to crime, or to the ghetto. And I think to myself, when I'm together with my people, I never talk about other people unless I'm talking about conditions and systems. But I'm not obsessed with people. There's a book called Blacking Up, where they talk about the minstrel show and how some of these white artists didn't even feel comfortable until they put their black makeup back on and started acting the way they thought black people acted. They would literally like go through withdrawal when they weren't pretending to be black. And for those who know, the minstrel shows were the first national form of entertainment. Do you know what kind of sick obsession, what kind of weird psychological relationship you got to have with the people to rape and abuse them and then like dress up like them and paint your faces and pretend them? Like there's something deeper going on that nobody wants to acknowledge or talk about. Nobody wants to say, wait a minute, if they're so bad, why'd you dress up like them for like 100 years? Like, why you want to move like them and dance like them and put their hairstyles in your hair and sing their music? Like, if they're so bad, like, it's not making sense. It just ain't adding up at all. And then when they try to leave, you say, go back to Africa. But then look what you did to Garvey. You went and set him up and try to ruin his movement and everything else. If you keep saying go back to Africa, but then the second we try, you treat us like the worst American ever in America, then obviously there's a lie. Lauryn Hill had a song called X Factor. It talked about somebody, talking bad about you, but then beg me. Then you say, you beg me to stay, right? So it's this give and take, like, get out of my life. I don't want you no more. But then if there's any man or woman in the room right now who's ever blocked the doorway in a fight, you ever argue with your significant other and you got in front of the door and said, no, we're going to talk this out.
No, you ain't leaving right now. We're going to have this conversation.
So you called her out her name. She done threw stuff at you. You done said, leave, get out. And the second they go to the door, here go America. Oh, what I meant to say was I just don't want you as free as you was. It's like, no, you said go back to Africa. This man is saying he's taking us back to Africa. By the way, Martin Delaney was making movements to go back to Africa even before Garvey, just for the record. But go back to Africa. The last thing they want us to do, according to their own documents, was to connect with Africans throughout the diaspora. There's government documents that say, keep them from being African, keep them from uniting with other countries, because when Dr. King did it, when Malcolm did it, they said that's when they got dangerous, when they internationalized their struggle. When Malcolm said we need to go to the UN and talk about human rights in the United Nations, they were like, oh, this Negro got to go. When Fred Hampton started saying white power and red power and black power and all power to the people and all the people need to get together against the people in charge, they said, oh, he got to go. When Dr. King went against militarism and imperialism and said, why oppose the war in Vietnam? They said, no, you ain't going to go international. Like, you can go viral, but don't start connecting your struggle with apartheid. Because when the HBCUs found out that their schools and these companies were paying for and supporting apartheid South Africa, that's what got the attention that broke the back of apartheid in the early 90s. It was black people in America who had the money, who was telling Coca-Cola and IBM, we not rocking with y'all. And these colleges got to divest from that. So black people have always been in America in a position that they need to be the most asleep. Because it's like a mob wife. You ever watch a mafia movie where the wife acts like she don't know where the fur coat and the jewelry?
I don't know nothing. Yeah, she don't know nothing.
Or you ever see Ruby Dee in American Gangster when she slapped Denzel?
Mm-hmm. Classic.
And I remember thinking that scene. Now come on, come on now, Ma. Come on. He bought a whole plantation castle for the whole family. All them. I know you heard the whispers. This man is shooting people, Idris Elba and all them on the street. I know you heard the gossip, now. Come on, Queen Mother. But she smacked him as though she didn't know what was going on. But she did give him good advice about the girlfriend, since she's gonna leave you. So, but I'm just saying, people will act like they don't know because they have plausible deniability. And I always said Americans have been the quintessential mob wives. The closer you are to the lie, the more propaganda you need. People in Zambia already know what the copper industry's doing because they see the factory and all the trash. Now, when we go to buy our phones, we don't know where the mica or the coltan or cobalt come from. We go to the iPhone store. We fast asleep. We buy our jeans. We don't see the people in India putting the dye on the jeans and all that. And all. We don't see none of that. We see the illusion. Again, like Lauryn Hill with the Disney. We live in Disney World. And we gotta be kept asleep, because if we ever walk into a mall and wonder where all this stuff come from, who mined it, who grew it, and how much did they pay for it? Because I can get it at $5, the $5 store. I get it $5 Below. How can I get all this at $5 Below? Like, what did they pay the people who mined it and dyed it and grew? Exactly. So if you ever wake up and try to really analyze the full supply chain or what perpetuates our illusion, it's dangerous. So black people in America have had to have more propaganda thrown at them, because people in Africa, there's only so much you're going to be able to fool us about, because we were here on the ground. We see a lot of stuff that happens. So Africans always have a different idea about world politics. I've never seen an African totally, unaware of exploitation. But I've met African Americans who are like you said, there's no racism. We got a fair shot and everything's good.
All right, so for those just joining in, Michael Shawn is actually on the flight now. I guess he's not going to check in on his phone. He's probably in the air, but he's coming back to South Jersey to visit his family. Sexy Mo having some technical issues, and so is DJ Cam with the Elsa storm, so their internet is all down. But so we're going to end up keeping the doctor for the end of the show. So before we go to break though and come back, if you guys got any questions for him, feel free. Hit us up with any questions you got for the doctor. Somebody just hit me and said, I need children's book recommendations to start arming my son with the knowledge that he comes from greatness. Is there like any children's books or anything that you recommend?
I think it's called I Am a King. I'm going to put book. The book
I Am a King. That's good for kids. It got pictures. I like pictures.
One says I Am a King, but there's another one I'm looking for. But there's a children's book called I Am a King. But there's another one that I had that me and my son read. But you can go to break and I'll make sure I get the book list up.
All right. The doctor is wonderful. So Shawnee, so let's take a break. We're going to come back and still got the doc with us. We're going to rock out through the rest of the show. I'll let him get some water. He's dropping a lot of knowledge. And we'll be back. It's Michael Shawn, TakeOver Legends.
Yeah. What up, y'all? It's Michael Shawn letting you know the biggest comedy show of the summer is about to go down. It all goes down July 14th. That's a Wednesday night at the Addison Improv. Michael Shawn and my man straight from Late Night with Monique and Coming to America the Movie Part 2, Mr. Rodney Perry.
My wife be worried about me. She think I'm gonna meet a woman in one of these shows and run off. I tell her I ain't going no goddamn where. First of all, I can't spring this body on no new bitch. No, I'm okay with clothes on, but naked, some bullshit going on up here.
This exclusive comedy situation goes down Wednesday night, July 14th, the Addison Improv. You want your tickets? Call 972-404-8501. Or it could be so simple if you just tap the link in my bio. What up, y'all? It's Michael Shawn from Michael Shawn and the TakeOver Legends. And just in case you missed the show, check this out.
Hey, did you see Akon? He was in the news. Akon apparently had his car stolen, car jacked, and he ended up calling 911. And basically, the 911 operator kind of checked him a little bit. Did you hear about it, Mike? Did you hear it?
No, I saw it. How did 911 operator, if somebody stole my car, how's the 911 operator? How do I get checked?
Because he I guess said he's carjacked, and she's like, no. There wasn't no carjack. You just had your car stolen. Like he's trying to call for help in the moment. I just play the clip.
Hey, yes, how you doing? Yeah, I was just carjacked at the gas station for my Range Rover.
And what gas station? What's the address?
The gas station is 761 Neiman's Marcus. But I have a tracker.
Listen, 761 Neiman Marcus is not a street in the city of Atlanta. What's the address you're at so I can get a police out there to you? And what's the name of the gas station?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, ma'am. This is not the gas station. This is where my car is actually parked because I have a tracker on it.
What gas station you at? Have you made a police report?
Yeah, the police is on their way, but they've been on their way for a whole hour.
And you say you were carjacked?
Yes, ma'am.
At gunpoint?
No, I wasn't at gunpoint.
What happened then?
I was literally getting gas, and they just jumped in the car. And
That's not a carjacking. That's not a carjacking.
Oh, okay.
Someone stole your car.
Yes, ma'am.
What do we do with? First, she was nosy, like it wasn't a 911 call. Where you at? What's your address?
I'm not getting fired up this early. I'm not getting fired up. Like Jay already did it to me. I'm not getting fired up this early.
No, Mike said, son. What was you thinking? What were you thinking? So it felt like she checked him. I don't know what it was.
God, man. What I'm gonna say is gonna be just ignorant. It's gonna be ignorance on top of ignorance, but it's gonna be true. But everybody's just gonna take it as ignorance. Like,
no, see, I gotta know now. Just speak it. I'm curious.
The last person you want to call on 911 if you're black is another black person on 911. That's the last person you want to call.
Especially Auntie.
The last person you want to answer the phone is another black person.
Aunt Lunell. That was Aunt Lunell.
Technically, that's not a carjack. That's a. I just. Your GED ass got this job because you didn't need no goddamn levels of. He just said he was like, yo, there's a tracker on the car. So I know where the car is at. Yeah, but where did you get? Where did you actually get? Where did it actually? You stupid bitch. Where did you get them there? Where did you get? And where did you get them there? And then technically that was in your car. How many kids you got, bitch? That's not there. I bet you don't know none of their dads, do you? Now they all laugh. That's why I'm sitting here and shut the
Michael Shawn and the TakeOver Legends. Your escape from reality. Right here on Free Agent Radio.
Don't never stop if you want to be on top. Yeah.
Tap in.
Tap in. Good morning, people. It's Friday. July. Michael Shawn and TakeOver Legends. Michael Shawn will be back Monday on the show. Actually, we're getting together at his house for game night tomorrow night. The whole show.
Don't rub it in.
Oh, well, I guess some of us. The doctor's coming. The rapping professor, Dr. Smith.
I don't know, man. Laurel, I might need to rent a bulletproof truck or something out there. Slingshots with marbles and all that going on, man.
Yeah, Mike lives out Mount Laurel where the racist Edward Matthews lives. But yeah, so that's where we're going to be at tomorrow. But before that quick break, I asked about a book. So did you ever find a book? You got a book?
Yeah, one book I was thinking about was African People in World History. African People in World History is a book by master teacher John Henry Clark, but it's like not a children's book, but it's like a child maybe 8 to 10. It's a great first book about like culture and history. So along with some of these animated books that you see, with like even the I Am King book, like these books that reinforce positive images of Black people, and the hip hop barbershop, those books that people have read about the dad taking the son to the barbershop, things like that. I think the history component, this is a good early book for history. African People in World History.
Good. All right. As long as it's got pictures, I can join in because I need pictures.
Oh wow.
Really? What you say? Oh yeah, I need pictures. I'm one of those people. I don't like all the words. First of all, I'm not a reader. I wait for the movie. But if it's some pictures, I may be able to rock with, a little bit. But either way, I don't want to be ignorant with this because I know the doctor is very knowledgeable. But yeah, so thanks for that recommendation. Hopefully that answered that question for someone. But yeah, so for those that don't know, also, so the rapping professor is Dr. Aaron Smith. He's a professor at Temple University, and he teaches a course on Tupac, which I always thought was interesting. So
I got a question about that.
Go for it.
Do you offer online courses, or do they have to come to in-person classes?
Yeah, well, we did online, especially for COVID, and just now for summer session. So I taught the Tupac course for summer session 1 at Temple University, which just ended about a week and a half ago. We're in summer session 2 now, but we did a 6-week summer course just now in Tupac class. So it just depends on what they're doing that semester.
And what is that? So when you say a class on Tupac, is there a modified, like a snapshot? Like, what are you teaching? Because that's weird to me. You're teaching about a rapper? Like, that's what some people may say. Well, how can you have a class about a rapper?
And that's funny because I often try to deconstruct how Black life is trivialized and minimized. Because I took a class on Ben Franklin. And I remember no one asking me about what I was learning. Like, it is during the normal semester, 16 weeks. So 16 weeks about one person. I mean, people could be great, but that going, dog, right? Nobody was like, bruh, like, what are you doing for week 10, week 15? Like, then more Ben Franklin, because it's acceptable. You can learn about the same white people every year. Let me stop. You can learn about the same white people every year for 12 years straight, and nobody says a thing about it. And it could be not true. They can be like, well, I heard he never told a lie. That's a lie, right? But everybody can get the same story. He didn't discover nothing, right? But there's no problem being lied to about the same 5 white men. Sometimes they put their face on mountains, right? Nobody had a problem. You'd say, I'm going to talk about a Black man for a few weeks. White, Black, teachers. What is that class about? It's like, I've been in school for 20 years. You never asked me about any of my classes, taught or, taken. But I promise you are not the first one to ask me about Tupac. But I know that there has to be something, like I said, underneath, like we were talking earlier, about the curiosity that doesn't exist when somebody says class on Columbus, class on psychology, class. They be like, well, I heard Freud was mad racist. Do you study that part? Nobody asked none of that. I heard
you feel like you have to. It's like it feels like it's forced, and you get the option to take the Beyonce course or the Tupac course.
That could be part of it too. I mean, but there's something about Black people where we're not worthy of academic rigor. We shouldn't be the focus. Because think about it. What class do you know that teaches about a Black man?
None of them.
I
mean, I would like to take the Tupac class. Surprisingly, my 11-year-old has a fascination with Tupac, and I've never talked to them about Tupac. But I had to buy the poster at Walmart. She was like, I want this poster. I said, who is that on there? And she's like, oh, that's Tupac.
And that goes to what Jay is saying about the images. Yeah. Those images, the reason why we as a people had the hieroglyphs and things, because we know that the picture tells 1,000 words well before emojis. So when Jay was talking about the illustrations, I was like, yeah, I think that, part of our cultural, resonance is that we want to see it. We don't want the abstraction and the theory and the language that represents it if we can get the actual photo footage, experience. But no, one of the things that we talk about is the importance of Tupac's mother in his life. And the fact that a lot of his songs, he has a song called Violent, where he talks about getting pulled over by the police, and Soldier, where he talks about breaking his brother out of prison. And I tell the class, this is the real life experience of Assata Shakur. Assata Shakur was pulled over on the highway in New Jersey. But Assata Shakur was shot and beaten, and her friends and Trooper Foster lost his life. Like these stories that Tupac is telling about, this time it's a cop who shot for his brutality and hit the pin, break your bigger brother out. Mutulu Shakur actually was one of the people who were accused of breaking into prison and freeing Assata Shakur before she fled to Cuba, where she still exists and resides in exile to this day. And I try to let people know Tupac is talking about a woman. When he's talking about his mom and his godmom, Assata Shakur, these are women in his life. Afeni Shakur was arrested with a group they called the Panther 21, who got a lot of bogus charges placed on them, including acts of terror they were trying to commit, including blowing up the Botanical Gardens. They threw the book at these Black Panthers because the Black Panthers in New York were known for being extra rebellious. And Afeni Shakur decided to represent herself. Afeni Shakur, with no law degree, decided to be her own counsel and not only freed herself, but freed the other 20 Black Panthers who otherwise could have rotted in prison their whole life. Tupac could have been born in a system instead of being born out free with his mom. Like, these type of stories need to be told. They doing movies on Django, movies on 12 Years a Slave. We need a Frederick Douglass movie. We need an Afeni Shakur movie. Can you imagine that? You about to lose your life. Y'all all going down. We got y'all now. We got y'all on all types of nonsense. 40 charge. I gotta look at the number of charges. I think
she represented herself and got herself off.
And got herself off, and the other members of the Panther 21. Afeni Shakur, his mom is no joke. They talking about that's Tupac's mom. No, we not doing that. We're not gonna act like it's some side person. The only reason why you even got that energy you love so much is because Tupac's mother was who she was, one of the few females to be in a position of power like that in the Black Panther Party nationally. Like, this is you need to know the roots of things, because now we see people trying to be Tupac, but they don't want to respect the Afenis. And they wonder why they just lost soldiers, toy soldiers, soldiers without a cause. You see a lot of that, a lot of courage and bravery, but no culture, no nurturing, no rooting, no regard for females. Like, only other person I heard to say something like Tupac said and hit him and keep your head up. He said, I think it's time we kill for our women. The only other person I ever heard say that was Malcolm X. Talked about Muslim women. He said, we'll kill you for our women. And I remember thinking, I only heard that one other time in my life.
And that's a beautiful statement.
Yes, because every other culture has an understanding. They don't need to say it. I can't go to Chinatown right now and go start punching somebody in their face. I grab one of them Asian women and start punching them down in their face, and the people come outside. They're not going to record it like we do. And I know there's a different history, and I know there's different brutality. I know there's reasons why we've been trained to watch and record death. I get it. The only person that got arrested during the Eric Garner thing was the guy who made the video. I understand what's at stake. But at some point, just like we talk about that man jumping out the window, at some point, I would put it this way. If I didn't know Shawnee from nothing, and I watched like that video of that cop on the side of the road who ground and pound that Black woman, he got on top of her on the highway. There was a viral video.
Yeah. I saw that.
I tell people all the time, I just pray that day don't come no time soon. I'm not walking the other way, because I won't be able to sleep or live with myself or call myself a husband or a father. I'm gonna know what the cost and the price is. It's gonna be like, do the right thing. Like, I know it might be bad for me, but I'm not gonna watch some woman, and then we all talk about, you can't hit a woman. You can't hit a woman. Somebody tell the cops. Like, so pass the message. Right? So I know that there's situations where you better than me. I would at least do a bottle. If Eric Garner was being choked, even with George Floyd, I wouldn't have stood out there for 10-10. I'd know for a fact that I've done enough things in those situations where we're going to disrupt this situation. We're going to bust out a window, do the right thing. I'm mookie this thing. Something's going to happen. You're going to get off him. He's going to get a break. He's going to get a breath. I'll go around the corner and throw a rock.
But the flip side of the Tupac, when you almost said hit him upside, I thought about there's the other side of Tupac. So people doesn't look at him, I guess, because he gives that thug life persona. That's what it is. So I'm a thug. That's why Joe, like he goes in. Like, how do you like teaching a class on someone that has that other side as well? Like, I'm sure there got to be backlash.
Them other people got them other sides too.
Yeah, that's the point. Yep, and that's the a lot of the theme in the Tupac class is the full humanity is not a contradiction. Because people say he made Dear Mama and he made I Get Around, and I'm like, I love my mom and I can't stand these hoes either. Like, I mean, why is that a contradiction? Like, what like, have you? I mean, well, they can relate. We've been in there's nothing more unsettling than watching some women who normally wouldn't have any time for a man give him time based on what he has. That destroys people's psyche. When you hear Jay-Z say, if I wasn't a six-figure by the name of Jigga, would you come around me or would you clown me? That Mike Jones, back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot, they all on me. Biz Marquis, I remember when at first they wasn't. Now guess what they caught from my cousin, the Vapors. Like, this is Ed O.G. and the Bulldogs. Got to have money to make it with the ladies in the 90s. Like, we never want to talk about the flip side of anything. The same way that there's problems with these men psychologically can't bitch and moan about it, but we are traumatized consistently about the prospect of somebody with more money gaining the affection of somebody we sincerely care about. You have made love transactional, and it plagues people. And Chris Rock and them talk about men don't buy sports cars because we like sports cars. Men buy sports cars because women like sports cars. And he said the goal in a woman's life is security. The goal in a man's life is a woman. So once we recognize these things, like, okay, when you see like every other city we go, can you imagine getting on a bus or a plane, going to a different city and seeing the same women doing the same things? You know what that does to your mind? Like when Richard Pryor and Tupac talk about their mother being with different men, right? It messes your mind up. Eddie Murphy talks about being in a brothel when he was young. Like it messes your mind up seeing people just with like no. Like I thought you was cool when I met you in Philly, but now I'm seeing you in Miami. Oh, this is what y'all do. This your life. You literally the McNabb white parties taking off wedding rings. Oh, I'm telling too much truth. Let me slow it down. But once you see that side of the game, I used to be in conversations with these second wave feminists, and I'd be like, I hear what you saying, sister, but there's other women that aren't you. And we need to talk about both of y'all. We need to talk about the women who have nothing to do with this life, but to act like there aren't Cardi B's drugging people and robbing them, to act like there aren't people who are handcuffing people and looking for wedding rings because they won't tell after they get robbed because their wife might find out, to act like there aren't people who are just in it for the money and literally putting holes in condoms like competing for crack, talk about, I gotta flush it down the toilet and his rats. Like these people exist. Now you want to debate whether it's 10%, 5%, 15, 20%, that's a different conversation. But the way that the energy around these conversations I had right now is as though these people don't exist. And when I'm in the industry, this is all I was seeing. I wasn't making it to church because I was too tired from the club. So all I was seeing was that. And when you in that life and you're that focused, like Tupac said, I don't know whether to do something mean to get him away from me. I don't know what to do because now all of a sudden I'm cute. Just last year, nobody knew me, right? So that kind of head game of nobody paying you any attention, then people literally fainting and crying and pursuing you, right? Ever since the movies, hoes want to do me. If they can't screw me, they find a way to sue me. There's a lot of real G's doing time because a groupie bit the truth and told the lie. Like this was a fear before it happened to him. This was a fear of his. Somebody's going to get me caught up in something. Because now if they can't screw me, they're going to sue me. And shout out to my nigga Mike Tyson. Right? Like, people, when Mike Tyson got what he got, there's a lot of black men that was like, I don't know if he did it or not, but I know I better tighten up my game and not just deal with anybody, because you could be a dog and a jerk and go to jail for that. And every black man learned that lesson, that it's not so much about the criminal aspect. The way that a lot of men treat women historically, like, I'll be back. That was a joke in the hotel. I'll be back. I'll be right back. Right? You can't do that now, because now she just, man, you could lose your life, right? So I think that whole notion of, oh, we can't say that Tupac could love his mother and not like gold digging hoes. We need to unpack that. Because I don't think a lot of people ever had the experience of being the pretty girl in the room as a man. And when you are in that space, like 50 Cent says, like being a pretty girl, when you're a man with some success, things change. People act differently towards you. Absolutely. And I think Chris Rock said about Orrin Hatch. He said, nobody's trying to screw you. Like, you don't know how it feels to have people with unbelievable beauty approach you and try to seduce you, who literally do that for a living. You wonder why these people have 3 different ball players and rappers? Because they know how these people think and act and what they want. And they know that they bring that and they understand the mentality. And yes, they can always get a rich husband. But if you're not a rich person and you've never got attention and these people start talking to you and these women start daddying you up, you ain't built for that. You ain't never even been around. You smell them and be like, what is that smell? I didn't know they made perfume that nice. They're like, when you get around that level, it does something to you, and it does something to women too. Because I've seen a lot of women say, I wouldn't do that, and I don't do that, and I've seen the rats come out. I seen the rats. I seen the money come out. People start and jokes that wasn't funny turn funny, or like Chris Rock says, a ball spot becomes a part. Right? All of a sudden, everything was funny, right? But I think Tupac's life shows the fullness in a way that most people were never as candid and vulnerable. Most people are never going to say, I'm going to make a song about my mom. Right? Nobody's doing that. Nobody was doing that back then, right? And nobody's going to say on a record, that's why I effed your wife. So he was taking it far on the aggressive side and far on the vulnerable side, on a way, like I always argue with the whole Drake type discussions. This is what makes you last. That's why you get more acceptability over time, because people who didn't know who was hot and what was what. And back then they would say things like Tupac wasn't a technical lyricist as well as other artists, right? He wasn't the boom stickity boom. He wasn't the rapper, right? Mm-hmm. But like Shawnee was saying with the next generation, all of the rappers back then sound old school to them. So that whole
I gotta have that conversation with her to find out because she put the post up. It's up in her room, and I'm like, why is she fascinated with Tupac? What does she know about? Because it's a poetic justice poster.
Oh yeah.
But Janet Jackson is not on it. She doesn't even know that's a movie. It's like, why did she want to? And she was like, I want this. I'm like, do you know who that is? It's Tupac. I'm like, what is going on? Does she know about Tupac? But
I think somebody said thug means the hate you give little infants F's everyone is the Thug Life acronym. The hate you give little infants F's everyone. So this interconnectivity of
he made that up because he had Thug Life. He just made that up to go because once you get a tattoo, you start getting backlash. It's like I got to come up with a good mantra for that. Huh? He came up with. I don't believe that. He didn't get that in the beginning. So you know what? The hate you give. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
He might have, Jay.
Oh, get out of here.
But in terms of the rapping, like let's say somebody said Biggie raps so much better than him and Jay-Z raps so much better than him, but like Shawnee was expressing, it's not even about that later on. Later on, nobody cares. You can play any of them old school raps, and a lot of the young people gonna be like, "This sound old." So what used to be what made somebody better than somebody, over time, all y'all is old school. So now what's gonna make you resonate? Like you said, a poster, an image, a symbol of manhood or strength. Like Ozzie Davis said at Malcolm X's funeral, the eulogy that's played at the end of that Spike Lee movie. He said, Malcolm was our manhood, our shining black manhood. Like he represented something in us and for us. He was speaking the truth that we didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like you got to understand how people can occupy it. Because people say that to me. People are like, Professor, I like when you be dropping the jewels because they know what their job is. They talk like that, they be fired. So I understand they might know the same facts. They might have the same courage. They're not saying nothing about that. They're just saying, thank you for being in a position and using that position in a way that while I'm at work and can't say it, I can listen to you and be like, tell them, Professor. I get what that means. So, and that's on a small level. Tupac on an international level, where you could literally go to villages in Africa. You can go to deserts in Budapest. Like they know Tupac the way people used to know Muhammad Ali. Like there's certain people like Bob Marley. Like you can go places that people don't speak English, don't know any Americans, and they know Tupac. And a lot of people are still trying to figure out that recipe. Like how is that the case? Because we promoted these other people. We spent millions wanting you to hate Tupac. Right. And that's what keeps the devil up at night. Well, they're like, yo, we wanted to bury this man literally and his legacy. Why are there people you keep resurrecting him? And what is it about? But that's always been our story as a people, where they always keep trying to do the Phoenix, crush us down. And they're always surprised. They burn down Black Wall Street. They lie about the history. They always they've been burning libraries for thousands of years, whole libraries. Hundreds and thousands of books. When they went into Egypt and all these different places, they destroyed entire cities and libraries. This ain't just happening, in the Middle East and all that, where they dropping bombs on everything. They've been doing this game for a long time to rewrite history. And for some reason, somehow, some way, there's something, like I said, even within a picture. Because they talk about the James Dean of our time. People look at a poster and feel like they're connected. They said Pimp C used to have a picture of Tupac on the wall and pause when he was asked the question and say, I'm trying to see what Pac is saying about it.
I'm going to zoom in and see what Pac thoughts are.
Yeah, so there's something about, your image. And I know Native Americans say that's why they didn't want to take pictures. They say it takes a piece of your soul. A lot of people actually. So there's something about that. And that's why people have shrines where they have their ancestors up on the wall. And down south, y'all got grandparents. You remember they would have no clean wall because there'd be pictures everywhere sometimes down south. Yeah. But there was something they understood about having them here. There's something about having them here in the space that means something, where a teenager might get looked at as like puppy love or fanatic. And it's like, no. There's something that they see. Like I said, if they ain't see the movie and they don't know the songs, what's really going on?
I don't know.
It's something we used to have. We used to have it. We used to be teenagers and connect with people and dream and all that other stuff. But now we adults and we responsible for other people. So we got too much to be thinking about and concerned about, to be wondering about the stuff we can't see. There's too much stuff that we can see that we got to handle, like bills and everything else. But we need to keep some of that spark and that imagination. That's what the class talks about too, like that ability to manifest things in your life by dreaming. Because it's something to be like, I'm going to have a pension, I'm going to have a car, and then having it. He said that. He said we turn words into real, tangible, material realities. That's a miracle. Like the special ed singing "I Got It Made" in a junkyard, and people are still singing the song today, almost 30-something years later. That's powerful now. He sat and said, "I'm your idol, your highest type." He wasn't nobody's idol when he wrote that, but now he
was mine. when he came out. Because I had his poster on my wall.
You thought that was symbolic. I was gonna ask you something about my wife trying to fight all the white people online and shit. She keep doing that. I'm gonna come back to that. But you think the special ed thing being in the junkyard was symbolic? You think that was intentional?
I don't think it was intentional in terms of the artistic contrast between the lyrical content and the imagery. I think that it was profoundly powerful that he was able to say that with that backdrop and everybody still understand what was taking place. Nobody saw it as a contradiction. And to this day, you never hear people discuss that song or that video in terms of a contradiction because we all got it. We all knew that you didn't really have alligator souffle. We knew that you were keeping it so that you can have it. And the fact that you were able to exercise that potential was what we were admiring. We were admiring your ability to see beyond your circumstance and create a new reality for yourself. And do it in a way that was classic. You know, that's what we loved. We loved that. We loved the fact that you were able to be like, you know what? Despite what they think about me and say about me, and despite where I am, this is what it is.
I got it.
And that's the beauty of hip hop. That's amazing. That means somebody in jail right now could do that. Somebody who's going through it right now.
That vision.
Yeah. And make that your reality more so than the reality you're in when you created the work of art. His life right now is closer to the lyrics and I Got It Made than it was in his reality when he wrote it. And that's powerful.
Yeah. Gotcha. Now my wife consistently, she pulls me in. Hey, this person said that she's trying to change white folks' opinions and minds. So when they say something crazy, she's the one that goes back and responds, but not in the nasty way to where as though it's name calling, trying to, I guess, educate people or have a different perspective. And I always wonder why. You're never changing their minds. You're never changing their opinions. Do you agree with that philosophy of trying to respond and I guess correct things?
Well, there's a certain amount of people that probably are available to be influenced depending on the facts presented. But in terms of race, it's profoundly low. There's something called moral suasion, the act of persuading a person or group to act in a certain way through rhetorical appeals. They used to do that during abolition. They would try to convince people that black people were equal and they were human beings and they could learn and not be violent. They called it moral suasion. It was part of like the abolition movement, where a lot of these white people didn't think we were completely equal, but they would still say, I know they're less, but we should still treat them nicer. And that was a big part that people don't acknowledge with the abolitionist movement. They'd be like, oh, these people fought for us. And it's like, yeah, a lot of them fought for us, but still said that we were subordinate and not quite equal. But there was this moral suasion movement. It's like, if we just talk to them, we just convince them, if we just appeal,
try to let them know.
Yeah, moral suasion, we could. But in terms of the online presence, I'm gonna type in online. I don't know, online fake trolls government.
No, it'd be real people like teachers and parents and like parent groups and but go ahead.
But this is what it'd be. Or like the agent provocateurs back in the day, it was a lot of real people that were real Panthers that were around those agents. All you need is one person to stir it up, though. The agent stirs it up and leaves. When the shooting starts, the agent, there was an agent, Aiko, who brought the guns to the Panthers. The one Asian Panther. If you type in Asian Black Panther, his picture will come up. The Asian Black Panther was accused of being an FBI informant who would supply guns to the Black Panther Party. So he would come to them and say, I got the hookup, I got the guns, this is what we need to do. And then he'd back up. And then people would get shot.
He throw a rock and hide his hand.
Yeah, so a lot of times conversations online, I would even look back sometimes and see, where did the conversation turn racist? It'd be a cat video. You know, it'd be a baby falling down. It'd be like, that's why I don't like black people. And then instead of somebody saying,
they kill themselves, black on black, they always kill
exactly. Somebody saying, yo, it's a baby video, you see it go down this toilet bowl, right? And then you look down and be like, yo, where? Right? It's a whole 3 hour or sometimes 5-day discussion. You see different dates on the discussion. People come waiting the next day, getting back online. And another thing, right?
And another thing.
So I realized that there's there's an investment in diverting our potential and our energy. And I say it all the time. If you have 100 units of energy per day, what do you use them on? And what do you invest them in? I know if I invest my energy in myself, I get 100% return minimum. I'm going to use it. If I invest in you, I can invest in you for 20 years. I always say, shout out somebody in a bad relationship. You can invest 20 years of your life into somebody, and it could be even worse than when you met them. And that's a chance some people take. I'm not saying you never, are vulnerable, but you have to temper those two. And when it comes to people I've never seen, that I'll never meet again, that I don't even know are real, or could be getting paid to stir up dissension, that's not investment that I'm willing to make. Classroom, community, different situation. But literally, if you Google paid government trolls, you could see cyber trolls and bots, a guide to online misinformation, state-sponsored internet propaganda. There's whole sections on this. Fake news.
Dang.
Like people
who thinks to Google that?
Troll. LA Times did troll armies, a growth industry in the Philippines. So they got people, same way they had call centers overseas, they are outsourcing people to troll online and shift opinion. So when they talk about people shifting elections and all that, by shifting, they're posting.
Wow.
I remember a popular one was Blacktivist. There was a group called Blacktivist on Facebook that's supposed to be all about social justice and black rights. That was a Russian joint. And it was like people just they'll take our movement, they'll take our steam, they'll take our anger and our energy, and then they'll say, and that's why you shouldn't vote. So they'll do a little trick. They'll name all the facts, they'll show Mike Brown in the street, and then they'll say, and that's why I shouldn't vote. And it's like, whoa. And somebody, yeah, like Simon says, right? And you get caught up agreeing. But yes, I see one that says in 2019, troll armies are a growth industry in the Philippines. And I see one that talks about how many people are in the press. They said the same thing with the press. The government has all these people who work in the press doing the same thing. Soon to election near you. They got a whole army of people who get online and argue about Donald Trump, Black Lives Matter. They don't even hardly speak English. They in the Philippines. They probably copy and pasting. And you sit up here arguing with them. I'm saying, and we be up here mad with real emotion. They up here laughing, getting a paycheck, not even living in the country. Election don't have nothing to do with them. They're not going to get affected. They're not going to deal with our police. But you got to understand that there are people who have no life to do it. There's people who are getting paid to do it.
But when they
fun, who don't even believe what they're saying.
But when they say something and then a bunch of people say, yeah, I agree. And it turns like, are they just, I guess, inviting them to come out with their racism or to speak up? Because it wouldn't have been there unless you.
I'm saying it's anybody who's ever been to an amusement park where they say trade in your dollars for our Disney tokens. Because in this amusement park, you can only use the Disney tokens. So once you get the Disney tokens, while you're in Disney, you cashing out. You doing stuff. You buying stuff. But when you walk out of Disney, they be like, what you doing with them dumbass tokens? Like, you can't buy nothing with that, right? But in the YouTube world, in the comment section world, yes, you could drag people. You could own them. You could clap back. People gonna upvote your stuff. They gonna like your comments. You told them. Look, they logged off. You chased them away. Yes, there is this fake premium. There's a commodity to conflict that doesn't exist anywhere else but the YouTube comment section. The only place where this is of value is when you sitting up there typing and getting them that right? Like a slot machine. You done cashed out, jackpot.
Gotcha.
Everybody stopped talking to you. You dropped the mic on them. Like, okay, and now what is the larger point? It's like, I think people need to step outside of that matrix and take a bird's eye view and be like, yo, I just wasted 2 hours.
Arguing. And they not even arguing no more. They just threw it out there and everybody else talking. They ain't said nothing else.
Yeah. And this is the thing too. Some people be at work doing it. So they might be doing their stuff. They might be getting paid, moving their life along, just typing to you laughing. You sitting in your house not getting your stuff done.
Heated, mad,
crying.
I can't believe this person. Star Jones 33.
Yeah, it's fake names. Fake.
Let me tell you what she said.
Hardly ever a picture. No, I would say that our time can be used in a lot of better ways. There are elderly people who have never learned to read. They got programs where you could like do some one-on-one with people where you could change their life in a few weeks. Like somebody, and that's a good example. The literacy program, there are people who are ashamed to register for school. They might be like 70 years old. Gentle people. They are some of the nice people you want to meet that live in history. They'll tell you about times they served in a war and did all this stuff. Like you might enjoy stopping by their house twice a week. And those 2 hours could be spent doing something like that, where you could transform somebody's life, give them a friend in their winter in years, teach them a skill they never knew. And if you ever learn the statistics of people who really can't read, you'd be like, yo, I told my students, if you know English, you should have a job. A lady came from who had spent time in Japan and said there's so many people teaching English all over the world. There's always somewhere on the planet that wants English teachers. So if you're a native English speaker and could speak basic first grade English, you could go to some village.
Get out of here. You need a degree or something for that, right? You gotta have
teach online,
especially with a degree. But even if you don't have a degree, if you can speak English, there are people who are like, yo, as long as you can, deal with this generator and lights out at 8 o'clock or whatever whatever living condition they got. But she was saying a lot of people are in America thinking I can't get a job, and it's like college graduates speak English. You gotta again, draw the lens back, bird's eye view this thing and say the world's a big place. There's 7-point-something billion people. Somebody wants you to teach them English that has a couple dollars. And if you're only getting $10 an hour anyway, you can find somebody with $10 to teach their grandfather English. You never, like, I just need people to understand what's available, because a lot of times the difference between African Americans, when they come to college, they say criminal justice, psychology. And it's like, no, you got these white kids, these Asians, these Indian people talking about, I'm taking pharmaceutical, anatomy, psychology. I'm like, how'd you even know that existed? Right? They'd be like, oh, my brother's one. And we talked about all the options and all the different salaries. And I'm like, that's what we don't know. A lot of times we got more drive than everybody because we had more against us. We overcoming all kind of odds. We just don't know what's available and where our time could be best spent and invested. So while we're online passionate, we need to know that passion could be saving a life. That passion could be changing and transforming a life. I think that's the lesson because I've been there. I've been in the YouTube section wasting my time, right? But eventually, this example that I could say for myself, I'll end with this. I was writing on the YouTube section one time, writing all these blogs, and y'all might see me, Jay Black, on Facebook. I used to write whole thing, notes on Facebook, and I used to do the videos, right? Do the videos, get all the sources, right? And it still hit me one day when I was like, "Yo, bro, for all this writing you're doing, you could get another PhD." A book is only like 200 pages. You done did 200 posts this year, bro. So you sitting up here with nothing to show for it. At the end of the year, you done made 2,200 blog entries. You could have had 200 pages in a book. You could have been a doctor, but instead you're a blogger. And it hit me, and I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna get all these sources, I'm gonna do it for a presentation. Now, after I get paid for the presentation, you can do it for free 1,000 times after that. You can do all the community service in the world, but I can get paid first, and it can move me up the ladder of my career. So why not invest it till I get paid triple? I can get a degree, I can get money, and I can get the community help instead of arguing with somebody and just typing to be typing. Like 1,000 people might. If 1,000 people read my blog, I'm lucky. Right?
And it ends with a fuck you. Yeah.
My personal revelation was all this writing you're doing books to get you contracts. You could be getting another degree. You sit up here doing all this writing, and at the end of the years, all you got is YouTube. Somebody cancels your page and takes all your content away.
Never exists.
You ain't got no backup. I see people who have 5 years of content they can't even access. So no, I'm not gonna be on a plantation. That's like sharecropping. You doing all this work on somebody else's field. You doing all this good work for somebody, and you don't get no advertising money for your comments. Like your content, you can make a different argument. Your content, you can say, well, my page is my page is monetized. Ain't nobody got monetized comments, so ain't no excuse for you spending all that time on that. You might as well make a comment section video and monetize it and say, you won't believe what the hater said to me today. You better find a way to get a bag from that. Say, this is Jay Black's wife, and I'm back in the comment section serving the trolls, trying to clap back, right? And they tune in, and you get your sponsors, right? And today the clap back is sponsored by Melanated Men. That's for black people, right? Like, then I'll be like, oh, I seen your wife done flipped it, and she done got a bag, and she using it. I'm not saying don't do it, but if you're gonna do it, do it in the way that it benefits you and your PA, because that's a different conversation where you're like, well, I get paid to be in my comment section. I actually got a whole YouTube page where I clap back at the haters. So now that's a $1 million idea. She could take that one.
Yeah.
I would watch that.
Save the threads and then repost. Yeah, you got it.
Sound effects and all that.
Yeah.
So you said that you did a video on Juneteenth. And there were some other videos you were doing, some other content you created. Where can we find that?
Well, nowhere now, because I'll send it to y'all. But I'm working on doing a content creation page where I have a free section, and then if people want to do premium stuff, they can always do that. But have like the basics, like at least a good 10 videos, you get a basic education. Because I don't want people to have to pay to learn. But if it's like some drawn out biographical stuff, like you want to learn about Martin Delaney, that's a different conversation. Like I can give you general Black history all day, but I ain't gonna give you 2 hours of Martin Delaney for nothing. I ain't spending all my time, But yes, like Kwanzaa. Can
I post it on the media room? Are you okay with that? Your free content?
I will definitely send that video to y'all today, and y'all can figure out how to get that up on the websites and the post and all that. Because they say you should get your best stuff out for free. That's how they say you should end up getting subscribers anyway.
Yeah, we can put it on the Michael Shawn, the YouTube for this TakeOver Legends page. That'd be dope. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, and then your wife can get that clapback page popping, and you can advertise, and then she can do a segment.
Yeah.
You bring on who was the craziest person in the YouTube section today, and she's like, "You won't believe what they said to me." Right? No, that'd be good. Y'all can run with that.
I like that. Thanks, Doc.
Yeah.
Always educating when you're on. Appreciate it. Yeah. So we got a couple more minutes. Anything else, Shawn, you want to throw at him? If not, before I'm gonna play around because I saw the Beat Shazam yesterday and I thought about him. They did $2 million. For those who don't know,
well, y'all be stuck on that his Shazam thing
before taxes. That's why I said,
yeah, before taxes, and he had to split it.
He still won $1
and he
million.
had to split
He
it.
still was with Jamie Foxx on Beat Shazam, and I said Aaron Smith, and he won $1 million because he beat Shazam.
They won $1 million.
Oh yeah, him and his brother. They won. And then when I saw $2 million yesterday, I said, I wonder what the doctor. No, they didn't win. They was trash yesterday. They only got one question out of the 5 songs. They only knew one.
But they giving away more money now. I didn't.
$2 million. They did $2 million yesterday.
Oh, so you gonna go back on the show now?
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking they need a return episode with the champions. They need like Jeopardy does with all the winners come together. I need to start a campaign. They need to bring
all the $1 million winners come back for a $2 million purse to battle each other. Yeah.
So what was that process like getting on the show? What did y'all do?
Oh man, and that was a lot. You had to thousands and thousands of people from across the nation were submitting videos, audition videos. If your audition video gets noticed and they want to talk to you, they have different tiers where they have like a filtering process for like the lower level people on the show will talk to you. Then they'll bring you up to like the assistants, directors and everybody. Then you'll do, if you make it to the final round per se, you talk to the producers, like the 2 people whose name be on the show at the end. They talk to you and they were like, a lot of people, are in this process, whatever, but we're gonna move you forward. We was tripping so hard. They was like, yo, you're going to fight us not to be on the show. You coming to LA. Like we was only talking for like 5 minutes. Like, cause we knew what they were looking for. They were looking for the quality and energy surrounding the gameplay. They don't care if you win. They hope you don't win. They want you to be interesting and energetic and fun to watch. And when you put yourself in their shoes, and I've had experience of watching people like Jay Black be behind the scenes during the morning show on radio. And I know that the producers like this. The producer got a whole different agenda. We're gonna keep this on time. We're gonna focus on the good stuff. We're gonna cover all our topics. So I know how a producer's thinking. So when I'm doing my audition, I'm not doing it like I know a lot of songs. That's what you want to focus on because you playing. The producer wants to know how much fun will people have watching you? How much will they enjoy your energy and your information and your vibe? How much will they resonate with you? Will they want you to win? Will they want you to lose? Like anything like that. That's why Omarosa did so good on The Apprentice. They wanted her to fail so much they kept watching. So they don't care if you're a villain or a hero. They just want you to be captivating, right? So we was tripping and joking and interested and all that. And they was like, yo, get on the show. They had no idea that my brother was a musical Rain Man. So we kind of pulled the Trojan horse on them, and I did all this let us on the show, rappity rap, and little did they know my brother was there ready, knowing all the songs in the world. Because if he got in the interview like that, they would have been like, first of all, he gonna win, so we're not gonna bring him on, and second of all, that's not entertaining enough to be knowing all these darn songs. So we were smart enough to know what they wanted, and we presented ourselves accordingly, and making sure we kept some of the information in the back. We didn't say, this brother knows thousands of songs within 1.1 second. Because literally, he was playing songs and telling me songs. I was getting scared. I was like, that. I don't know.
I'm about to do a test run right here for you right now.
Oh Lord!
This is DJ Black. DJ
call my brother. Oh, it was too late. Okay.
Nope, just you, because you answered a lot of questions right on there too. Don't get it front. I watch. Here we go. You got a couple seconds to
What's
get
the topic? They usually give me a genre.
It's hits, a pop hit.
Okay, pop. Let's go.
Pop is pop. And these are only the biggest hits, as Jamie Foxx was saying.
Yeah,
the biggest hits. Here we go. Let's see if we got this. That's it. That's all I'm giving you.
What?
You need
a little bit like Biz Markie, Just a Friend, but all I heard was that done.
I guess he do give you a little bit more.
It's a pop hit.
That's a pop major hit.
I got a feeling.
Man, you ain't getting no money. How you beat Shazam?
Because I brought reinforcements.
I bet you people, Shiny, you don't know that either?
Do it again.
This is a major pop hit. Major.
Well, pop is where we going wrong. I'm I'm from Texas, man.
If I let the next note play, you're gonna know it.
Okay, well let the next note play.
Nobody in the comments guessing either.
Somebody in the comments say it before I play.
They don't know.
They don't know.
Come on, Action, Gail. I see a whole bunch. It's a whole bunch of people. Come on, I need all y'all. Somebody to comment. What was that song? Beat J Black. Y'all can't beat me. Jesus. All right, I'm gonna play the next note. Watch everybody know it now.
Oh.
Action got it.
Justin
That's
Bieber.
Justin Bieber.
Yes.
I sure don't know that, baby. Nah.
That was a major
Baby,
pop
right,
hit.
baby.
Yes, baby. Well, y'all whack. Y'all lose.
I don't even think my kids know that.
Got it. That was a major pop hit.
Well, that goes back to what I said. You gotta win when the money's on the line, because you can lose all day when there's no money.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That's how I be with Wheel of Fortune. That's how Family Feud, Wheel of Fortune. I be going. Hey, that was major. All right, Shiny ain't rocking with me. Maybe because that's my white song that I love in my car that nobody knows. You used to know.
No,
I used to be rocking.
I was an urban AC programmer.
Yeah, it's still Justin Bieber, but yeah.
I
So
wasn't keeping up with
y'all
him.
lose on BJ.
I mean, I like him, but I wasn't keeping up with him. What, you got another one? You only had one song?
I just told him when I pulled up.
He gave us a final round.
Yeah.
Dang.
It's a $1 million question.
Action said he want his check.
Well, he didn't say the title. Action, you just said Justin Bieber, so you lose. According to the show, you gotta have the title.
Like exact
an exact title. Ain't nobody checking for Lil Bieber.
Ain't nobody checking for him. I mean, I can see why Action knows it. His daughters are probably listening to it. His daughters were probably listening to it. My daughters don't listen to that. Well, now they pick their own music, but when I had control of everything they listened to, now they was listening to R&B. Okay.
Yeah, I don't play no Justin Bieber in my house either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Discover that by yourself.
Mark said, Hood Shazam. Hood Shazam. Yeah, it's Hood Shazam because Jane got these songs lined up right.
Hey, I was only prepared for one. I didn't know y'all was gonna come for another one. I got some movie. Oh
yeah, you do have the movies.
I was gonna do some movie quotes, and if you knew where it was from, let me see if I
okay, do the movie quotes.
Wait a minute. Let me see if I can do this one. This might be one. Let's see if the doctor or Shiny know this one. All right, y'all ready? Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute.
That's a movie?
Oh, wait, my audio dropped. No, we're gonna do another song. I got another song. Here we go.
Oh, we know that. Come on, man.
Wait, don't you say it. Shiny, what was that?
That is, I know it, but I don't know.
I know it, but I don't know.
That's Tupac. Yeah. Ain't that Tupac?
What's the title?
Play it again.
That don't how it works, but okay, you lose.
That is Brenda's Got a Baby.
Yeah. Action had it. Action had that one after the fact. All right,
Tupac and Jodeci, right?
That wasn't no Jodeci.
That's not Jodeci on there singing.
Brenda's Got a Baby.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, my bad.
Jodeci's on How Do You Want It and all that.
Oh yeah. My bad.
And talked it up too with Aaron Hall and.
I got. Let me see. I got a movie quote. Let me do a movie quote. All right, here we go. I love black people. That's all I'm going to say.
I love black people. Oh.
Come on, Shiny. Come on, Doc. Yeah, y'all ain't
Boys in the Hood.
Show too.
I don't know. School Days.
Nope, not School Days. School Days. I love black people. No.
No. Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing.
Nope. Come on, Action. I love black people. That was a major line in the movie. Yeah, y'all suck.
Mo Better Blues.
No, not Friday. Nope. No better blues. What year
I mean,
you
I don't know.
You watching
Mo Better Blues? I don't know. I was a Spike Lee fan. I really admired Spike Lee.
He actually said Judah and the Black Messiah. Nah, I love black people.
Oh, he said Paul think about that. He said, I love black people.
The clue is Tom Cruise.
What black people? Movie?
Barbershop.
Tom Cruise in a black movie?
No, Tom Cruise not in a barbershop, but
they was the clue. It wasn't a black movie.
Oh, Jerry Maguire.
Bam. Stephanie got it.
Stephanie got it.
Jerry Maguire. I love black
Cuba
people.
Gooding Jr. ain't been
Show
black
me
since
the
he got
money.
out the car. Since he was shaking out the car, he ain't been black ever since.
I love black people. Show me the money. All right. Here's another
He
one.
don't even date black. Oh, let me see.
I had to fight all my life.
Oh, Color Purple.
Okay, that was too easy.
All my life, I had to fight.
Am I my brother's keeper? Bam. No. Oh. Dang.
He already said it.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what it was?
Yeah, he already said it though.
Okay.
Everybody know that one now.
Am I my brother's keeper?
Yeah, a halfway hard one.
A halfway hard one. I can't say bye Felicia then, huh?
No.
Why ain't no brothers on the wall? Can't say that one then.
She has some kind of business in California. The girl that was Felicia.
For real?
In Friday. Yeah, she did. I can't remember what it was.
The crackhead?
In the movie, she was a crackhead, but in real life, she's an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur.
She played that role real good. Yeah, it was New Jack City, by the way. Am I my brother's keeper? All right, TV show. One little line. See if you remember this from a TV show. There was a character on a TV show. Challenge.
Oh, that's the Cosby Show.
You said
we got to name the character. I don't remember his name. It was the tap dance teacher.
So challenge, and you said it was
in that movie too.
Show.
It was also in the movie Tap. It was Savion Glover and Gregory Hines when they were doing the whole scene when they were going back and forth. They drew the line on the ground. They were like challenge.
So Felicia got a vegan truck.
Yeah.
Well, Angela, yeah, we call her Felicia. She's always going to be Felicia. Bye, Felicia.
It's 10 o'clock.
Bam! We gotta go. But y'all was wrong. Challenge came from a TV show. Was Dragonfly Jones on Martin. Challenge, young punk. You know the Dragonfly.
After the other stuff, they need to look at Tap, the movie Tap, when they was doing the tap dance, and they drew the line in the middle of the floor, and they did the challenge, and then other people did the same thing.
Yeah, you haven't seen Tap?
Yeah, that's where that really came from. Challenge. Yeah, that's how Martin did it. But that's like Martin did the Mac too. Remember he's doing to the top, you're not afraid, baby. He did that whole scene from the Mac. And my students didn't even know about the movie The Mac. And they was like, oh, I remember that from Martin. I said, oh, other way around now.
Gregory Hines, right? Yeah, Gregory Hines was Tap. Yes. All right, so we done. We out. We late. Michael Shawn to be back Monday.
Don't forget, if you are in the DFW area or you coming and you need tickets to the comedy show, Michael Shawn, Rodney Perry on next Wednesday, Addison Improv.
Yes.
Inbox me, or you can add me at Shawnee Scott. I come up. Just add me there.
Close it out.
And I got your tickets.
Say a quote. Matter of fact, Dr. Smith, say an inspirational quote. Because Mike always say, put God first, and he say a bunch of stuff. Love life and live long and walk your journey.
Don't let people mess your day up.
Don't let your day like we need a I need a quote. I need
in honor of the troll conversation we was having. I always like to say, don't let your haters fool you. Let your haters fuel you.
All right.
And we out. Don't let your haters fool you. Let your haters fuel you. Okay.
I like that. And we done. See you guys Monday.
Michael Shawn and the TakeOver Legends, where nothing's off limits. Free Agent Radio.